The following is a presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball, brought to you by the Gatemen Baseball Network in conjunction with the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Last summer, the Wareham Gatemen had one of their most successful seasons in franchise history.
Skied out to left field. This ball is way back. See you later. Colton Shaver.
2-1 pitch. That is rocketed out to right field. Back goes the right fielder. That one's gone. An absolute bomb to right field for Gavin Sheets.
Hey, swung on and hit out towards center field. Bartosik on the move. Kind of got turned around. He's at the wall. Scaling the wall. He reaches up and makes the catch.
But despite their regular season success, the 2016 Gatemen were sent packing after the first round of the CCBL playoffs.
Is this ball fair? It is! Bro comes in to score the game's tying run. McKinnon comes in as well. Bourne has walked off, and Wareham's season is over.
Now, a new season and a fresh start in Wareham. College baseball's finest are coming from all over the country in pursuit of the Gatemen's 8th Cape Cod Baseball League Championship.
3-2 pitch. Metz bombs one to right field. Back goes the right fielder. It's gone. Robbie Metz, his second home run of the season.
The 1-2 pitch from Canine coming in, swung on and missed, and the Gatemen win their third straight game here at Spillane Field.
Fly ball deep right field. Pompey's under it. He makes the catch. Throws to the plate. McIver puts the tag down on the runner, and he's out. Double play. What a play by Pompey.
It's Wareham Gatemen Baseball, and you're listening to it live on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
We are about as far east as you can go here in the Cape Cod Baseball League here in Chatham, as the Gatemen entering a doubleheader today between the Chatham Anglers and the Wareham Gatemen here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. I'm here with Connor Federico. My name is Sam Corman, and we're excited to get this marathon of baseball started here for a 5 p.m. start. Second game set to start at 8 p.m. here in Chatham. And, you know, Connor, doubleheaders can be pretty taxing, and especially when one team wins both and one team loses both.
Well, doubleheaders are physically taxing for sure. I mean, you're playing 14 innings today because both games are going to be 7 innings rather than full 9s. And it's also mentally taxing. I mean, for the managers, you got to make sure you're putting your right guys out on the field at the same time. Doubleheaders can sometimes slip away from you in terms of preparation for the second game and treating it as it's a full game. And, you know, even though they're only 7-inning games, they count the same in the rankings. They count the same in the record book. So if you win both games today, if you're the Wareham Gatemen, you're suddenly a 4-1 team. And I think that's the spot that they want to be in right now.
Absolutely, and that would be huge to leave today at 4-1 for Wareham. The Anglers come into today just 1-1, having played 2 games so far. And we have a new addition to the Gatemen lineup. We're going to get to more of that later. It's Luke Bonfield out and right. But Wareham won its last game in dramatic fashion to look to improve on that today. But what happened in the 9th inning? It was pretty impressive what went on there.
Well, 5 hits, 4 of them coming consecutively by the bottom of the order. I know Jacob Toby and I were talking about that in the bottom of the 9th last night. It's like, you know, you usually want the top of the order or the heart of the order up in your lineup, but with these Gatemen, you can throw any first 3 out there in the beginning of an inning and expect them to do well. So John Topa with a leadoff single, then Ben Baird had a single of his own. Garrett Zeck followed his up with a single. Brandon Lockridge after that. A ground ball double play by Andy Shadid, and then Willie McIver's walk-off infield single. So 5 hits, 3 runs came in the bottom of the 9th yesterday against Falmouth. The Gatemen thought, hey, maybe we're going to go to 1-2, but they swung it around in the bottom of the 9th, and they got a win together. They're 2-1 on the season now, and they're tied for second in the Western Division standings of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
A really tough way to go down for Falmouth, dropping to 0-3 on that dramatic walk-off single in the infield by Willie McIver. We're ready to go to our host for today. It's going to be Jacob Toby. And Jacob?
All right, everyone, welcome into Gatemen Pregame Live, presented by South Coast Health. My name is Jacob Toby. You just heard from the guys Sam Corman and Connor Federico. They will be on the call today. As Sam said, it's going to be a marathon of baseball here in Chatham at Veterans Field, the site of the 2016 All-Star Game, the Cape League All-Star Game presented by Friendlies. Obviously, this season it will be at Spillane Field, where we were last night, and we saw the Gatemen with those 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th. They walked it off versus the Falmouth Commodores. But right now, let's take a look at the pitching matchup for this game today. It will be Blakely Brown for the Wareham Gatemen, and Brown coming out of Georgia. He just finished his sophomore season. He's a right-handed pitcher, 6'0", 173. He's from Statesboro, Georgia, went to Statesboro High School in his 2017 season. Made 16 appearances, only 2 starts, was 0-2. He pitched 26 innings in total. The ERA was a bit high at 6.91. Struck out 29 batters, walked 10, 26 hits led up, and 20 earned runs, a 2.48 opponent's batting average. And in his freshman season, his ERA even was higher at 10.70 in 17.2 innings. He did strike out 24 to 17 batters. And what he comes with, he's a power arm. He commands below average. He's struggled with that, but the power arm comes with the fastball, 93 to 95 with late hop through the zone. He's got a nice 12-6 breaking ball, but he's yet to show real command of it, so we'll see if he can work on the command side here on the Cape. And when he went to high school at Statesboro High, he was named the junior and senior year MVP at a 1.29 ERA. Now we flip it over to Chatham starter Jacob Stevens out of Boston College. This past season at Boston College, 16 appearances, and he started all 16 of those, went 5-7 with a 5.10 ERA, 83 innings, 73 strikeouts to 42 walks, which was very impressive at 271 opponent's batting average. In 2016, 15 appearances, 14 games started at a 2.54 ERA. So his ERA actually went up from his freshman season, so we'll see if he can work on that as well. And then he averages 88 to 91 on his late life fastball. He's got a changeup, which could be a big difference maker to left-handed hitters, and he's got a curveball, which may be his best weapon. And now we will send it to our Claudia Chikamian. She caught up with yesterday's starter versus Falmouth, Justin Glover.
I'm here with Siren Knight's starting pitcher, Justin Glover, who went 5 innings and struck out 4 in the win. So, Justin, how exciting was it for you getting that start for the home opener for the Gatemen?
It was very cool. You know, we were pushed back a day, and the excitement and everything, I was feeling good Friday, ready to go, and then it got pushed back, and that's hard to deal with sometimes, but I'm glad we were able to come out Saturday and still get the W.
So, Sneddon continues to say how good the pitching is here. What were you trying to do last night to keep when the game was so close?
Just getting ahead and trying to work fast and stay ahead of everybody, and I had some success doing that. I was able to throw a bunch of strikes, which is always important, so that worked out for me well.
You went pretty long last night, going 5 innings. That's the longest a starter has gone so far for the Gatemen. So do you think that was helpful to the bullpen today with it being a doubleheader?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're going to have to use a lot of arms today, so I was trying to get extended a little bit and minimize the guys we had to use yesterday, so we'd be set up well for today.
And what would you say the goal is for the pitching staff today with it being the first doubleheader of the season and not knowing exactly what to expect?
Just throw strikes. I mean, when you're throwing strikes, you're always good to go, and that helps out in the long run. I mean, minimizing pitch count. So just getting ahead of guys, working fast, and that should lead us to 2 wins, hopefully.
Great. Thanks, Justin. Congrats on a great game last night. Back to you, Jacob.
Spillane Field's 2017 home opener gave us all the excitement we wanted to see. The pitching was excellent. A late game rally by both teams set up a must-watch 9th inning. The Gatemen had won 2 straight season openers at home, and Wareham starting pitcher Justin Glover started out strong to put Wareham in a good position to beat the Falmouth Commodores. And the 1-2 swung on and missed. Davidson thought about going down to first. He says, all right, I'll just go back. He strikes out, 2 gone here in the first. The 3-0 is sent out to center field. Wickham on his horse, and he dives and makes the play to his right. What a play by the center fielder Wickham, and that'll end the inning. Right now, infielders on the corner. That one a hanging breaking ball sent into left field. A diving play made by Solomon. The run will score, though. A nice play from Solomon, but the Gatemen get their first run of the season at home on a sac fly by Blake Sable. It looked as though the Gatemen would keep the Commodores scoreless until Falmouth got the bases loaded and changed the game completely. Rowe at third, Sakina at second, Wickham at first. No outs in the inning, and the Gatemen up 1-0. And now the game will be tied. Solomon drilled in the back. Coming to score is Bro. And we've got a whole different ball game here at Spillane. Falmouth ties it up 1-1. The 1-2 is sent out to center field. Going back is Zek. Makes the catch. It's enough to send Bekina from third, and the Falmouth Commodores take a 2-1 lead with Wickham at third and Solomon at first.
Solomon's a threat to go.
2-2 is sent in between Sable and Lockridge between first and second. Another run comes around to score. It's Wickham. And an RBI single for Logan Davidson. It's now 3-1 in favor of the Commodores.
With the game tied 3-3 in the top of the ninth, John Amendola comes in and keeps the Commodores scoreless.
Swing and a miss, dropped by the catcher McIver, but he throws down to first. And Johnson is retired, 2 gone in the top of the ninth.
Well, yesterday against Harwich.
Back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning for Amendola. And the Commodores go 1-2-3. Can the Gatemen come back and win this one? Find out next. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Could the Gatemen do it in the bottom of the ninth? I'm not going to tell you. How about you just listen?
Just foul something off. Try to get that third ball to your name.
This one set into right field for a base hit. Topa finds himself on first. Ben Baird now represents the tying run. 1-2 on a line to right field and in for a base hit. It's going to be first and second for the Gatemen. Topa to second, Baird to first.
Bunt is the right move here, especially because Zach has a lot of speed.
Zach showing it again, gets it down.
This
Runners go
base
from
hit.
second to third. And now, safe at first, coming from third is Topa. That's 1 run. And now runners at the corners. Pollitt's running into some issues here in the bottom of the ninth. Lockridge at the plate with a 1-1 count, runners at the corners. Lockridge to the shortstop, and he bobbles it, and a run will score, and the game is tied. Davidson couldn't handle it, and it looks as if he may be hurt. He got hit in the head with the baseball. 2-2 to Shattuck. Sends it up. They'll go to second for 1 on to first. The double play. Runner moves over to third. That runner is Garrett Zek.
Wow, that just took the life out of Clem Spillane Field completely. A double play by Andy Shattuck. He sends it right up the middle. A tailor-made double play. Davidson steps on the bag at second and then turns it onto the first baseman, Berger.
The 1-2 is chopped in the infield. Coming over is Pollitt. He doesn't handle the baseball. The run scores. The Gatemen win their 3rd consecutive home opener. 4-3. What an ending. McIver sends in the run. Zek scores. That's a good first game. Hey, it was a fun game rather, and it was a good one at that. Obviously, I was on the call. I thought I did an okay job. I don't know about anyone else, but hey, it doesn't matter. We're going to go around the Cape League right now and take a look at some scores as we take a look at Katuitt and Brewster. They're tied in the bottom of the 8th, all knotted up at 3. We then go over to Falmouth. The Falmouth Commodores are looking for their first win of the season after losing last night to Wareham. They're up 5-2 on the Orleans Firebirds. That's in the bottom of the 4th. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks, they have been struggling this season. They are losing 6-0 to the Harwich Mariners in the top of the 7th. And the last game that was supposed to be played was supposed to be Yarmouth Dennis at Bourne. This one gets postponed, and Bourne is in a deep issue right now because they've got 4 games to make up, a doubleheader, 2 other ones as well, and it will not be easy. Obviously, we're in the pregame right now between Wareham and Chatham, and of course, Brewster and Katuitt also will be starting at 5 o'clock. At 6 o'clock will be the second game. Orleans and Falmouth, Hyannis and Harwich will play at 6 as well. And obviously the YD and Bourne game will not be played at 7. That was supposed to be the second of the doubleheader. And the Wareham Gatemen and Chatham, whenever the first game finishes, the second one will follow. It may be at 8 o'clock or maybe earlier or later, depending on what happens. You have been listening to Gatemen Pregame Live, presented by South Coast Health. We'll be right back with Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent-care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent-care.
Back here at Veterans Field in Chatham, you're listening to Gatemen Pregame Live, presented by South Coast Health. Now we'll send it down to the field, and our Claudia Chikamian, she's catching up with head coach Don Snedden.
Thanks, Jacob. So, Coach, what situational hitting did you guys work on today in batting practice so you don't get into a situation like you did last night?
Well, our batting practice is pretty consistent right now. We're working on all the skills needed in the game. So they're working on hitting runs, they're working on hitting the opposite field, they're bunting, they're driving the ball. So you just try to cover all those in batting practice so they can utilize those tools during the game.
And that definitely came through last night with those 3 bunts last night. So it's working off for you guys?
Well, it's getting better. It's not where we want it, but we want it to be automatic. We didn't get that one down in that clutch situation, and that's something we need to improve upon.
So this is, the first doubleheader of the season. So what's the strategy for both the hitters and the pitchers today?
Survive. We got fog coming in here, and luckily there was no rain. But 2 7-innings games is not too bad, but it's still mentally it's tough. So these players have to realize that and realize they're playing from the 4th inning on. So it's like starting a game in the 4th inning.
And you have a chance to get 2 wins today. How important it is playing well and hopefully getting that first win after 7 today?
You'd love to get wins on the road anytime you can. So we would be very excited about that. It's still early in the season, but you'd like to jump out ahead in the other teams if you could.
Great, thanks, Coach. Back to you, Jacob.
Thank you, Claudia. Now let's check out the starting lineups presented by the Chatham Bars Inn. For Wareham, Brandon Lockridge will lead it off. He's the second baseman. Tanner Dodson bats second. He's in center field. Willie McIver, who hit the game-winning RBI last night, he's at third and bats third. Jake Anchia is the catcher. He bats fourth. Luke Bonfield makes his return to the Wareham Gatemen for his first start tonight. He's in right field. Blake Sable is at first base. John Topa is the left fielder. Nate Fosnot gets the start at short tonight. He bats eighth. Andy Shadid is the DH, and he bats ninth. And for the Chatham Anglers, it'll be DJ Artis, the returning center fielder from last year for Chatham. Josh Shaw will be at second base. Jacob Olson is the right fielder. He bats third. Nick Patton is the first baseman. He bats fourth. Jeremy Pena is the catcher. He bats fifth. Jimmy Titus is at shortstop tonight. Austin Edens is the DH. Jake Palomaki, another returner for the Chatham Anglers. He's batting eighth and at third. Bobby Brennan is the left fielder, and he bats ninth. And now I'm going to welcome in our beat writer for the Wareham Gatemen, Matty Feld. Matt, how are we doing today?
How are you, Jacob?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for asking. So a couple transactions by the Gatemen yesterday. A couple players sent home. A couple new faces will be active today for the Gatemen. Who are they, and what do you know about them?
Well, today Luke Bonfield's been activated. He's already in the starting lineup for Game 1. He's in the 5 spot, and then he's going to take a little action at first base in Game 2 as well. He's someone who was here with the Gatemen last summer, but unfortunately had to get sent home due to an injured groin. Terrific player for Arkansas. He's been a solid hitter. He was a terrific hitter this year, hit about 285, and he's someone that Don Snedden expects to bring some versatility, first base in the outfield, and a little bit of power as well. And if there's one aspect in the game that the Gatemen have been lacking so far, it's definitely been power on the offensive end. No home runs, only 1 extra base hit. So that's definitely going to be something that, Coach Snedden hopes to bring to the table. Griffin Roberts, a closer from Wake Forest, who we've talked about, is on his way here. Is expected to be active for tomorrow's game. And Miller Hogan is in here from St. Louis, a right-handed pitcher who had a terrific sophomore season. He's here as well. So the Gatemen are getting some relief both on the mound and in their lineup, and especially when you're about to start a doubleheader, it's much needed.
And what Gatemen has impressed you so far throughout these first couple games?
Well, it's a bit of an easy softball answer for me because he had the with the walk-off hit last night, but I'll go with William McIver at 3 hits yesterday. He can play third base. He played third base at Washington last year, but he's come up on the Cape to learn the catcher's position. He played it last night and it was pretty flawless, I thought, especially facing someone like Justin Glover, who's got a very good backdoor slider. So all in all, I think William McIver, who's been able to play third base catch, has provided a little bit of pop, I guess, so to speak, in the 3 spot in the Gatemen order. Has probably been the most impressive bat and glove so far for the Gatemen.
And one more thing, you and I were talking to head coach Don Stem before the game. He likes versatility on this team, and it seems the Gatemen have a lot of players that can do a lot of different things.
Yeah, there's really no one on this Gatemen team, especially in the lineup, that has a primary position. Robbie Metz back at George Washington played second base, but as Sneddon pointed out, that he also started 5 games on the mound, can play third base, left field, right field. William McIver, who we just talked about, plays third base and catcher. Blake Sable's going to get some time in the outfield in Game 2, playing left field, and he's going to play some first base. He can also catch. And so there's just a number of players on this Gatemen team that can play left field, right field, first base, third base, catch, do something that Robbie Metz did last year, play 7 different positions over the course of the season. And when you have no one on your team that's really excellent at one position, it's really important that you have all those versatile guys, and the Gatemen have just that.
All right, that is Matt Fell, the beat writer. Make sure to check him out on the Gatemen website. The Gatemen Baseball Network would like to remind you that you can connect with us anytime by emailing gatemen@pressbox.org. Please feel free to send us your questions or comments, and we'll make sure to address them as soon as possible. Make sure you're keeping up with all the Gatemen action 24/7 by following Wareham Gatemen on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You've been listening to Gatemen Pregame Live, presented by South Coast Health. We'll be right back after this short break.
Care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent care.
Welcome back out to Gatemen Pregame Live, presented by South Coast Health. My name is Jacob Toby. Thank you for listening to Gatemen Pregame Live. Now we'll send it out to the guys that have the call for the game. Please welcome Sam Corman and Connor Federico. Guys, take it away.
Welcome back to the broadcast booth here in Chatham, and we have some keys to the game for everyone. One key, we saw in Harwich that the Gatemen were pretty aggressive, swinging on first and second, maybe third pitches in the at-bat, not letting those at-bats run longer, letting the pitchers kind of solve the hitters. Do you think it'll be a good key for the Gatemen to be aggressive here against this Chatham lineup?
Well, it's a give and take, and the key is, if you want to be aggressive early in count, you have to make sure that it's working. Because if you want to put the ball in play too early against a pitcher like Jacob Stevens, sometimes you might swing on the second or first pitch and it's going to be a ground out, and that really helps the pitcher more than it does the hitter. So I think Jacob Stevens, for the pitcher for Chatham today, he's going to be aggressive. He's going to throw first pitch strikes. He might throw a second pitch strike and then waste a couple. But if you're the Gatemen hitters, you got to make sure that the pitch you're swinging at with an 0-0 or an 0-1 count, it's in a little box. You want to pinpoint it exactly where you want it and drive that ball hard somewhere where you can place it, hit it the other way, pull it, or send it back towards the pitcher. You don't want to just be free swinging with a pitcher like Jacob Stevens. If you're going to hit early in the count, you got to make sure the pitch is exactly where you want it and you have a game plan for it.
Absolutely. Stevens on the mound for Chatham today. For the Gatemen, it's going to be Blakely Brown out of Georgia. Second straight Georgia Bulldog on the mound for the Gatemen to start the game. Yesterday we saw Justin Glover go 4 perfect innings before surrendering just 1 hit in the 5th and he had a great outing yesterday. So what's the key for Blakely Brown today?
Well, what Justin Glover did so well yesterday was he had this slider coming out of his left arm, and it came through the back door and really fooled hitters for the first 4 innings in that game. Once he started to throw it a little too much at the same spot consecutively, that's when he ended up getting hurt, getting that 1 hit out onto right field from him. So I think Blakely Brown should be looking to do the same thing today, get a backdoor slider working. He's not a lefty, he's a righty, so we'll see how this works for him. But you want to pinpoint that spot on the outer half of the plate, maybe start your location out on the outside of the batter's box if you're facing a left-handed hitter, and let that righty slider come in and hit the back door. For righty batters, I'd like to see him work the same spot, try to jam them inside, try to balls today. Glover was more of a fly-out guy, but I think we're going to see some ground-outs from Brown today, and that's what Blakely Brown needs to do to be successful, have another 5-inning day, which is really good for starters in the Cape Cod Baseball League because you're on those pitch count limits. Don Sneddon saying we don't want anybody going more than 70, and even that's a little generous. So I think Blakely Brown, if he throws 5 innings like his Georgia counterpart Glover did yesterday, I think he's going to be really successful.
Absolutely. And twice this season, in 3 games, we've seen the Gatemen, the hitting has kind of been contagious. And we saw it in the second game against Harwich. They exploded for 7 runs in 1 inning. I believe it was the 6th inning in that Harwich game. They scored 7 runs, batted around probably 12 or 13 batters in that inning. And then yesterday, 5 hits in the 9th inning en route to that walk-off. So the hitting seems to be contagious. How important is it to get that first hit of the inning?
Well, it's like you said, it's contagious, and it's certainly been the story of this Gatemen team so far. The 5th inning of the Harwich game, the 6th inning of the Harwich game, and then the 6th inning of the Falmouth game and the 9th inning of the Falmouth game are the only innings so far through 27 that the Gatemen have scored any runs, and in all 4 of those, they've gotten a leadoff base hit. They have leadoff base hits in other innings, but I think the key for them today and going forward in the season, if you're going to get that leadoff guy aboard, maybe Don Sneddon wants to send him in motion. Maybe they want to do a stolen base. Then you bunt a guy over to third, and then you get a guy in through a sac fly. So there's plenty of ways to produce runs in the game of baseball, and I think so far the Gatemen have figured that out.
We're just about ready for the national anthems here in Chatham. We will take a quick break, and then it's time for the game.
By Chatham resident Emily Brady.
You want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent-care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent-care.
At the twilight's last gleaming, who's brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in
are about ready for first pitch here in Chatham between the Gatemen and the Chatham Anglers. Bit of a foggy day here in Chatham. Apparently that's a theme out here on the east coast of Cape Cod, the elbow of Cape Cod as people like to call it. And apparently if that fog thickens up, we actually could see a delay here.
Well, they haven't seen that in a couple of years now, and I know neither of these teams want to be making up a doubleheader or even the second game of it. So we're certainly going to play this game. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the lights come on. You know, that was a beautiful national anthem we just heard, and it was sort of hard to see the flag out there in center field. Center field fence only 385, so much shorter than Spillane Field. There have been a couple home runs here at Veterans Field this year, Sam. We haven't seen any or got the chance to call any yet, but that may change for the Gatemen. Yesterday, I could count at least 3 fly balls that would have gone over the fence here at Veterans Field that stayed inside the ballpark near the wall at Spillane Field yesterday.
Absolutely. Jacob Stevens is going to be the pitcher for Chatham. We'll get the scouting report on him in a second. We'll run through the Gatemen lineup really quick. Leading off for every game so far this season, Brandon Lockridge is going to play second base, number 12. Tanner Dodson is going to be in center. He'll hit second. William McIver is going to play third base. He will bat third. Jake Anchia has hit cleanup every game so far this year. He will remain there and catch today. Luke Bonfield will make his Gatemen 2017 debut out of Arkansas in right field. Blake Sabol at first base today. John Topa is in left, hitting 7th. Nate Fosnot is hitting 8th. He'll play shortstop. And Andy Shadid will get the call at DH. He'll hit 9th. And they will face Jacob Stevens, the right-hander from Boston College. The Darien, Connecticut native has been drafted in the 33rd round of the MLB draft twice in his career. First in 2015 by the Philadelphia Phillies, and then again this year by the New York Yankees, but opted to join the Chatham Anglers this year. 2017, he had a 5-7 record at BC with a 5.10 ERA, 8 home runs given up, 73 strikeouts to 42 walks. Watch out for a low 90s fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. And the changeup seems to be that big difference maker versus lefty hitters. Brandon Lockridge, the right-hander, will dig in from Pensacola, Florida, and we are just about ready for baseball here in Chatham. Stevens kicks and delivers, and pitches low, 1-0 here on Brandon Lockridge, the second baseman, hitting .273 so far this season. Coming in 3 for 11 on the year with 1 RBI. Lockridge fouls off the 0-1 pitch, or the 1-0 pitch, and now it's a 1-1 count on the Troy University product.
Check swing there by Lockridge. It was a good pitch, so good job of fouling it off. Let's see what he does with the 1-1.
Stevens, the righty, with a high kick, delivers right up the middle, off the glove of Stevens, and into center field for a leadoff base hit from Brandon Lockridge. Line that one right back to the pitcher. It hit the glove of Jacob Stevens. A good reaction, almost made the catch, but it deflected off his glove and into center field. So the Gatemen are cooking here. Just one batter into this game, and Tanner Dodson is going to step in.
Well, that was a great job there by Lockridge. We said in the pregame, if you want to attack the pitcher early in counts, you got to make sure that that ball is in the exact little box that you want it coming through the strike zone. That one was in the center of the plate. Lockridge drove it right back over the mound. Great job.
Stevens. Tanner Dodson showed bunt on that first pitch, but the pitch was low, pulled it back, and it's a 1-0 count on the California Berkeley product. Tanner Dodson, a center fielder with a cannon out there, can also pitch. Probably won't see too much of him at the pitching position this year, but the lefty steps in here on a 1-0 count against Jacob Stevens, who throws over to first for a pickoff attempt, but Lockridge dives back safely.
Yeah, if you're Stevens, you got to make sure you're checking over on Lockridge. He's definitely a threat to run, leadoff hitter in this lineup. He has a big lead right now.
Lockridge, we've seen him steal. We've seen a lot of Gatemen steal as the 1-0 pitch comes in outside and high, 2-0 now from Jacob Stevens on Tanner Dodson. We mentioned that changeup is the difference-making off-speed pitch against these lefties for the Chatham pitcher. Stevens did play a few games for Chatham in 2016. Pitch comes in outside, now a 3-0 count on Tanner Dodson. So Jacob Stevens having some early issues with his command here, a 3-0 early here on the second hitter, Tanner Dodson out of California.
Well, that's why, those command issues, that's why I would leave the bat on the shoulder here if you're Dodson.
And the pitch comes in outside, Dotson works a walk on 4 pitches, and now first and second for Wareham with nobody out here in the top half of the first inning.
Well, it's a tailor-made inning so far, Sam. This is exactly what we were just talking about in the pregame. If you get that first runner on for the Gatemen, it seems like that this lineup after him really seems like that they can really put some stuff together. Willie McIver, who had the game-winning RBI last night, yesterday's hero against Falmouth, he steps up to the plate now.
I would like to mention that we do have an outdoor broadcast spot today, and you could that noise that you are constantly hearing is a slight wind blowing in. It appears to be going towards the Gatemen dugout on the first base side, so slightly in towards the infield. Not too much wind, so that shouldn't be an issue for either the pitcher or the hitter today. Stepping in now, Willie McIver, the hero from last night, hit a walk-off single in the infield in the bottom half of the 9th inning to give the Gatemen a 4-3 win over Falmouth. Stevens delivers, pitches high outside on a fastball, 1-0 on Willie McIver from Washington. The third baseman today also played catcher yesterday, but Jake Anchia, who DH'd yesterday, is back in the catching position. You'll see him next. McIver, the righty, facing Stevens, shows bunt. Pitch comes in high once again as Stevens tries to settle himself down, as now the catcher, Pena, will go out to the mound to settle down his pitcher early on in this game as first and second already.
Well, Titus, the shortstop, is coming in on this mound visit, too. I think the pitcher needs to be calmed down right now. He's thrown 6 straight balls out of the strike zone, but also Titus wants to make sure that they're keeping the runner Lockridge close over there at second base, not letting him get too much of a steal.
Since Lockridge's single, we've had 6 straight balls from the Chatham pitcher, Jacob Stevens, out of Boston College, facing the righty, Willie McIver. Righty on righty, delivers, and high once again. Now a 3-0 count.
Well, I think this is
McIver.
a situation where most of the time Don Sneddon would say, okay, lay down a bunt, but I think they have a lot of faith in Willie McIver, especially after the 3-for-5 night he had yesterday against Falmouth. So 3-0, again, I leave the bat on your shoulder, but if he throws a strike here, look out for the 3-1.
Stevens delivering the 3-0 to McIver, low and on the corner. Strike 1 on McIver. He was already on his way to first base, but the home plate umpire today, who is Rick Emerson, called him back pretty quickly. McIver hitting .357 this year, 5 for 14 with 2 RBIs. One of which came, of course, last night to win the game versus Falmouth, improving Wareham's record to 2-1. McIver, the righty, on righty, Jacob Stevens, fouls off the 3-1 pitch behind him, and now a 3-2 count, so Stevens working himself back into this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what you got to do when you're a pitcher and you put yourself in 2 consecutive 3-0 counts. Come back, throw 2 consecutive strikes, threw a fastball right down the middle there, but McIver was just a bit late on it. I think if he throws that pitch again, McIver could really take it for a ride.
McIver, the University of Washington Husky, faces Stevens, the BC Golden Eagle. The 3-2. In there, strike 3 called on Willie McIver. Did not like the call in the inside corner.
Well, it was the same call as strike 1, and it just clipped the low and inside corner coming into the righty McIver. That's a big 3-pitch swing there if you are the pitcher. Stevens, you go from nearly walking McIver to load the bases with nobody out to suddenly getting your first strikeout, and there's 2 runners aboard. Lockridge is in scoring position over there at second.
One of the most interesting stories of this Gatemen lineup so far is Jake Anchia, who's hit cleanup on every single day so far this season. Here in the 4th game of the season, number 16 digs in the D2 player out of Nova Southeastern University. Takes a ball, strike on the outside corner, Bit of a slow reaction from the umpire today. Emerson.
Well, that's the exact same pitch as the last 2 strikes that were called on the inside corner, so Emerson may be giving pitchers a little favor on the inside corner.
Anchia, the catcher, the cleanup hitter, with that open stance, takes a ball in the dirt from Jacob Stevens. Count moves to 1-1 on the cleanup hitter, Anchia. Anchia in 2017 hit .326 for D2 Nova Southeastern. They actually won the D2 National Championship back in 2016. 17 home runs this year for Anchia. Pretty impressive stuff. Also a .719 slugging percentage. Swings and misses at a curveball. 1-2. Good breaking ball there. Probably the best we've seen from Jacob Stevens.
I think that's the first breaking ball we've seen today out of Stevens. He's really been going fastball changeup so far. That one had a lot of action on it, moving away from the righty Anchia. If he goes back to that pitch, it could possibly be a strikeout pitch, but beware a high fastball here if you're Anchia.
The righty, Anchia in blue, takes a ball on the inside corner. Count moves to 2-2. That looked like a pretty similar pitch to the one that struck out MacIver.
Yeah, and this time the Gatemen get the call they were looking for. Anchia really got to put this ball in play here. You can't strike out like MacIver did.
The lights are on here in Chatham, and it is 5:09 p.m. as the pitch comes in on just inside, 3-2.
Yeah, that curveball again, he started it near Anchia's body, and it almost came in and clipped the inside corner of the plate. Front door curveball, as it's sometimes called, but doesn't get the call. Count goes full. Big spot here.
Anchia in a 3-2 count. Runners on first and second with one out here in the top half of the first inning between the Anglers and the Gatemen. Pitch comes in low, and Anchia works a walk. So the second walk of the inning and the game for Jacob Stevens loads the bases up here for the Gatemen in the first inning.
So I think Stevens is upset there because that was the exact same fastball on the low and inside corner that he struck out MacIver with. Rick Emerson, not a lot of consistency so far, but I mean, one was a walk, one was a strikeout, so now you have the bases loaded.
That ball was framed a little bit by the Chatham catcher, who today is Fabian Pena, hitting in the 5-hole. And stepping in now is Luke Bonfield for his first at-bat of the season with Wareham. The Arkansas Razorback coming in.
Well, Bonfield has been in Wareham before. He played 2 games for the Gatemen in 2016. He hit 3 for 8, drove in a run, and that was it for his 2016 season. But he's familiar with the Cape League, familiar with the Eastern Division. He played a full season, or about a full season in 2015. Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox.
Bonfield takes a strike, and it's an 0-1 count here with one out. Bases loaded in the top half of the first inning. The Anglers wearing their Brooklyn Dodger blue with blue pinstripes, blue socks, blue hats with the red brim. Wareham in their away blues with red numbers and the blue hats and helmets. 0-1 pitch comes in low on the corner, and an 0-2 count now on Luke Bonfield in his first at-bat of the season. The Skillman, New Jersey native hits 283 in his Arkansas career in 3 seasons, has 17 career homers with the Razorbacks, 95 runs batted in. Also 41 runs scored as the righty faces the righty, Jacob Stevens. Takes low, looked like a pretty similar pitch to that last one, as now a 1-2 count coming in on Luke Bonfield, who's wearing number 5 for the Gatemen this year.
Well, isn't this a great spot to be in your first at-bat with the Gatemen in 2017? You got the bases loaded, 1 out, 1-2 count. You got to drive this ball somewhere.
Bonfield on the 1-2. Swings and grounds it to short. This could be 2. On to second for 1. On to first. They get the double play to get out of the inning. Titus to Shaw to Patton. 6-4-3, and the Gatemen go down scoreless on a big double play by the Chatham Anglers. At the end of the top of the first inning, Gatemen and Chatham Anglers tied at 0. No runs on a hit, no errors, and the Gatemen leave the 2 men on base.
Care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent-care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent-care.
The Down East Lobster Roll combos are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Welcome back here. It's the bottom half of the first inning as we'll run through the Chatham Anglers lineup in a scoreless game. Leading off for Chatham is going to be DJ Artist, the center fielder, hitting second. Josh Shaw will play second. Jacob Olson in right field will hit third. Nick Patton at first will hit fourth. Fabian Pena is the catcher. He will hit fifth. Jimmy Titus is hitting sixth. He's playing shortstop. Austin Edens, the designated hitter, will hit seventh. Jake Palamaki is at third base. He'll hit eighth. And Bobby Brennan will round out the Chatham lineup in left field. And on the mound today is the second consecutive Georgia Bulldog for the Wareham Gatemen, starting today, number 45, Blakely Brown, who had a pretty tough season at UGA, but always tough in the SEC. has a slider and a fastball that can reach 93 to 94. Had a strikeout to walk ratio of 53 to 27, playing in that tough SEC conference. And after a tough freshman year hit with a 2.21 walks hits per innings pitched, brought it down to 1.38 the next season. So a improving right-handed Blakely Brown on the mound for the Wareham Gatemen. He faces DJ Artis, and the first pitch is a ball up high on a fastball. 1-0 on Artis from Liberty University, a former 2015 Red Sox draft pick, as the pitch from the righty Brown comes in on the outside corner, a strike. 1-1 now on Artis. Artis is one of the best players on this Chatham lineup, hitting in the leadoff spot, as Brown quickly delivering here. That's already the third pitch of this at bat, and it comes in inside a 2-1 count now on DJ Artis. A 2015 Red Sox draft pick, 40th round, but opted to attend Liberty University. The first team All-Big South and Player of the Year in the Big South Conference this year. Takes a ball outside from Blakely Brown, who's delivering pitch after pitch at a tremendous rate so far here in this first at-bat. Deals again to Artis. This one's on the inside corner, a strike.
Well, working quickly is fine as long as you can control it, and I think Blakely Brown's been doing that for most of his baseball career. Now the umpire, Rick Emerson, he's going to call time. The umpire has to be set too. It's not just about the catcher and batter. Everybody's got to be ready.
Blakely Brown deals a 3-2. Just outside, so Artis works a walk. The 365 hitter heads over to first base, so the leadoff hitter for Chatham.
Well, similar to the Gatemen in the top of the first inning, both teams get their leadoff runner on base. Artis has a ton of speed, just like Lockridge. Gatemen elected not to put Lockridge in motion, but Dodson walked anyway. So we'll see what Shaw can do. He's hitting 4 for 9, the best hitter on this Chatham lineup so far.
4 for 9 with 2 RBIs, takes a ball inside from Blakely Brown. Big East Freshman of the Year this year at St. John's University, from a Wayne, New Jersey native, and last year saw some action with the Catuit Kettleers. Went 7 for 36 with just 1 RBI. And Blakely Brown, the righty, now in the stretch. And showing bunt quickly with Shaw, pulls it back and takes a strike on the inside corner. 1-1 count now on number 5 in white. Josh Shaw hit .297 this year at St. John's, which, as we said, was good enough for Big East Freshman of the Year. Blakely Brown goes over for a pickoff attempt at first base, and diving back safely is the very speedy DJ Artis. Artis always a threat on the bases, playing center field today as he goes, and now a base hit in the right on the hit and run. Artis turning around. He'll get to third easily on the hit and run, as beautifully executed, as Shaw goes opposite field as the second baseman Lockridge was covering second on the stolen base attempt. So now Artis at third, Shaw was at first on his single, and now first and third, nobody out.
Well, you said it, Sam. It was perfectly executed there by the Chatham Anglers. As soon as that second baseman Lockridge has to go cover the bag, Shaw finds a way to smack a ball going to the right side of the plate, and he hits it to the right side of the field. Great job by him.
Beautiful play on the opposite field hit by Josh Shaw. Now it's Jacob Olson out of South Carolina stepping in the righty. And a ball gets away from Anchia here, and he's able to safely retrieve it and get it back to his pitcher, Brown. And staying at third is DJ Artis.
Good call there by Artis. He was going to be out at the plate. Sometimes you see that ball get away on the other side of the plate towards the first base dugout, and that's a hard angle to see it, how far it really gets back to the dugout.
Jacob Olson, the right fielder, fouls it away.
Advancing on that play was Josh Shaw. He got to second, so now we have two runners in scoring position and nobody out. This is a good spot for the Anglers. But Blakely Brown right now, he's talking with Jake Anchia, his catcher. They need to figure out a plan of attack so they can get out of this inning with limited damage.
So now 2 runners in scoring position for Chatham, with nobody out here in the top half or the bottom half of the first inning. Jacob Olson out of South Carolina, SEC East on SEC East here in Cape Cod, as the pitch comes inside. 2-1 now on Jacob Olson, who is hitting .222 at 2 for 9 so far this season, with 1 home run and 2 RBIs. both RBIs coming on that lone home run on Chatham's season. Righty on righty. Delivering is Brown, just low. Did not like that call from the home plate umpire Emerson. So now a 3-1 count as the wind picks up here in Chatham.
Yeah, and it's, even though it might not affect the flight of the ball very much coming out of the arm of Blakely Brown, it's still annoying for a pitcher when you got a breeze like this coming in.
Brown deals to Olsen, grounded to shortstop. This will score a run. And firing over to first is Fosnot to make the play to Sabol. But scoring is Artis on a ground out 6-3. Shaw will remain at second. And it's 1-0 Chatham here in the first inning.
Well, we talked about in the beginning of the game how the key for the Gatemen was to make sure that they got that leadoff runner on, and then usually they'd find a way to bring the runner around. This time it's Chatham who gets the leadoff runner on with a walk, and then a single by Shaw, and now an RBI ground out for Olsen. So Shaw's going to hang out on second base. Gatemen still aren't out of this one with one out.
One out now, a runner on second base. 1-0 Chatham the score here in the first inning, and Nick Patton will step in, number 12 for Chatham. An infielder from the University of Delaware. Takes the first pitch from Brown in the dirt, and a 1-0 count now from the Georgia pitcher. Nick Patton from the University of Delaware was a freshman Louisville Slugger All-American. And in 2016, hit .285 with 12 home runs and 46 RBIs for the Blue Hens. Righty on righty, ball in the dirt. So now a struggling Blakely Brown now facing a 2-0 count against the cleanup hitter for Chatham. And a runner in scoring position still here in the first inning with one out after Jacob Olsen was retired 6-3 just a moment ago, scoring DJ Artis from third. Patton did hit .312 this year, and even more impressively had a 1.026 OPS. As this one's popped up down the right field line, coming over is the right fielder Bonfield, and he can't make the play. It's fair. He might have lost it in the fog. Advancing to third is Shaw, because he stayed at second because he thought Bonfield was going to make that play, so he is unable to score. But at second is Patton, and now we have second and third once again for Chatham here in the first inning. Just one out.
Well, Bonfield just plainly judged that ball incorrectly. He was in a good 5 or 6 feet from where the ball actually landed. Once he figured out the ball was going over his head, he had to run back for it, and it just went over his glove. Ball barely landed fair. So if you're Blakely Brown, you know, this Chatham lineup has caught a couple of breaks so far in this game. It's not the kind of start you wanted, but you said he's an SEC East pitcher, and when you're an SEC East pitcher, you're a mentally strong guy, and Blakely Brown has to be that right here if he wants to get out of this inning, only giving up 1 run to Chatham and not letting this get out of control early.
Brown now trying to settle into his groove here as he seems to be struggling here, but tough play for Bonfield there. You don't know. Maybe the fog might have had an effect on that, as this ball is cranking to center field in the first pitch. Coming on is Dodson. He makes the play. Tagging is the runner at third, Shaw, and it's cut off by the pitcher. So it's 2-0 Chatham on a sac fly by the catcher, Fabian Pena, in the 5-hole, and it's 2-0.
Well, a good job of driving the baseball to center field, mid-center field. I thought Dodson definitely had a chance of getting the runner at the plate. It was cut off by Sabol, the first baseman who came over to field the ball on the mound, and I'm not sure that was the correct call. I don't know whether Anchia told him to cut that ball off, but the runner might have been out at home had that ball gotten through to home plate.
Certainly would have been a close play. They would have at least wanted to see what would happen, as the first pitch to Jimmy Titus, the shortstop, comes in the dirt. A lot of crazy pitches here by the pitcher, Blakely Brown, early on. We mentioned before the game how good of a defensive catcher Jake Anchia is behind the plate. That's really the biggest thing that he provides for the Gatemen roster, is that defensive ability behind home plate. Jake Anchia, who's hit cleanup every single game so far this year for Wareham. Jimmy Titus is the hitter out of Bryant University. His first year of summer ball from Stratford, Connecticut. Takes a ball in the dirt, 2-0 now. Excuse me, not his first year of summer ball. Played for the Bristol Blues out in Bristol, Connecticut last year. Went .288 with 12 RBIs in 36 games. The 2017 NEC Rookie of the Year with a very open stance. Takes a 2-0 pitch and fouls it away over the Gatemen dugout on the first base side.
having summer ball experience is invaluable for some of these guys. It's a whole new situation. You leave your school team that you're with 9 months of the year, whether you're only playing 4, but you're with them for the rest of the year. You come in, you meet a whole new group of guys, and you got to find a way to make your teamwork and chemistry click.
You got to learn how to use a wood bat as he takes a 2-1 pitch and fouls it away.
Well, a lot of these guys come from wooden bat leagues, not necessarily in the summer, but growing up, a lot of travel leagues down south or wherever in the country, out west, in the Northeast, a lot of wooden bat leagues. So a lot of these guys have experience growing up with wood bats.
Jimmy Titus with a very open stance, the righty. Facing the righty, Blakely Brown deals. This one slapped into the opposite field for a base hit. Bonfield retrieves it, turning the corner at third. In scoring is Nick Patton, and it's 3-0 Chatham. On a RBI single from Jimmy Titus out of Bryant.
Well, on that play, Coach Schiff of the Chatham Anglers was waving home the runner Patton the entire way, and it was definitely the right call out there in right field. Bonfield hasn't had a great time out there so far, wasn't able to get the runner out at home, but Coach Schiff, he's been coaching third base as the manager for the Anglers since 2009. He's been here much longer than that, but says he likes to coach third base. He really enjoys it.
First pitch to Austin Edens comes in low. Edens, number 22, playing DH today for Chatham in the 3-0 game here in the first inning. And on first is Jimmy Titus, who just knocked in Nick Patton, who was in the scoring position. Edens playing the designated hitter role today, takes a ball low. Now a 2-0 count on him as Brown's command struggles continue. Edens, a career .317 hitter at Samford University in Birmingham, Alabama. The Baton Rouge, Louisiana native had a .976 on-base plus slugging percentage this year, which just shows that he can hit for power and hit for contact at the same time. This one's chopped over to first base. Sebol picks it up and just tags the runner out. And that'll do it for the first inning, but a tough one for Blakely Brown. 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and they leave a man on base. We'll go to the second inning here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players ages 8 through 18, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, plus 400 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Cape Cod Healthcare now offers Cape Cod residents and visitors convenient urgent medical care by emergency room trained physicians at the Fontaine Outpatient Center in Harwich and the Stoneman Outpatient Center in Sandwich. For sore throats and coughs, x-rays and splinting, suturing of lacerations, and much, much more, come to the Stoneman Outpatient Center at 2 Jan Sebastian Drive, just off of Exit 2 in Sandwich, or the Fontaine Outpatient Center at 525 Long Pond Drive, just off Exit 11 in Harwich. Both have extended evening and weekend hours, and both centers are staffed by emergency room physicians. No appointment or referral is necessary. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Welcome back. It's the top half of the second inning. I would like to wish all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day, especially to our dads. My dad, Stephen Corman, down in Pensacola, Florida right now. Wish I could be with him today, but I'm up here in the Cape calling some baseball.
My dad, it's his birthday today. This happens once every 2 or 3 years, that Father's Day happens on a June 18th. It's always a fun day. Easier for gift giving, I gotta say that.
Blake Sebol steps in and bunts the first pitch foul, almost bunted it over the netting behind the plate.
That was coming right into my arms, and I would have caught it perfectly, but it just hit the netting at the top.
Sebol facing Jacob Stevens, who went in the first inning, and loaded up the bases pretty quickly, but was able to get out of it. Pretty impressive stuff there from Stevens as the pitch comes into Sebol, and he swings and misses, foul tips it into the catcher's glove. 0-2 now on the USC product.
The Gatemen are behind 3-0, and it's only the second inning, but really it's more like the 5th inning because we're playing a 7th inning game. So you got to get these bats going.
Here it comes from Stevens, popped up behind the plate, foul and out of play on the Chatham side, the third baseline. off the bleachers. Sebol coming into this game 364, 4 for 11 with 2 RBIs. And the USC product, one of the top recruits out of high school, one of the top 10 catchers out of high school in his class, as he swings at this fastball and grounds it down the first baseline foul. Staying alive at 0-2 is Blake Sebol.
Well, he's one of those guys that was here early, didn't have to be here during preseason training camp where a lot of the guys are trying to make the team. He's a full roster guy, but was here anyway.
Sebol was drafted in the 33rd round of the 2016 MLB draft, but chose to attend USC by the Cleveland Indians. And this guy can fly around the bases, as we've seen from most of the catchers on this Gatemen roster, which is very surprising, as the righty, Stevens, is going to deal to Sebol. Outside.
Well, I think Coach Sneddon has showed us so far through these first 3 games that he's into guys that can lay a bunt down. He's into guys that can steal a base. He really likes that small ball approach, especially when you're playing at Spillane Field.
Sebol grounds it right back to the pitcher, and Stevens throws it over to Patton. 1-3. Sebol is retired, 1 down here in the second inning.
Well, that was a good job of driving the ball back where it came from, but it was a better play by Jacob Stevens to make sure that ball didn't go into the outfield. Neither the shortstop Titus or the second baseman Shaw had a chance of getting that ball. So give props to your pitcher there. He does a good job of getting his own first out of the inning.
John Topa steps in, the left fielder today, hitting .333 so far this year. Takes a strike on the outside corner from Jacob Stevens. Topa, the righty, number 14 in blue, who's 4 for 12 with 2 RBIs so far this season out of UConn. Takes a ball in the dirt, 1-1 now on Topa.
Well, Topa led off the bottom of the 9th last night in that great 3-run rally that the Gatemen put together to win the game against Falmouth. This would be a nice time for him to do something.
Topa has shown he can go opposite field, takes a ball here, 2-1. Did go opposite field on that 9th inning hit to the right field. And that started a rally. Kind of electrified this Gatemen lineup. And it ended with William McIver, who was in the 3-hole yesterday. Sebol in the 6-hole today. Or, excuse me, Topa in the 7-hole today. As he takes ball 3 outside, 3-1 now coming in on him. So a hitter's count on UConn product, John Topa. Topa with a .385 on base percentage this year. Takes from Stevens. In there for a strike. Count now runs full with 1 out here in the second inning.
Well, after a shaky start for Stevens, giving up a leadoff hit to Lockridge and then a walk to Dodson, he's really gotten it together, thrown the pitches that he's wanted to, located well. Speeds are working very well to throw off these hitters.
Stevens to Topa. Swung on, grounded, chopped. Tough play here for the pitcher. Stevens tries to fire over to first, wide, and he stayed on the bag. Good play there by the first baseman, Patton, to stay on the bag after a pretty bad throw by Stevens. But he's able to retire him 1-3 for the second out here in the second inning.
Well, what he did really well was rotating with his right foot. Stevens thought that throw had to be in fair territory, and he threw it in foul territory instead. What the first baseman Patton did was rotate his right foot. He rotated his left foot into foul territory, just keeping that right foot on the base.
And stepping in now is Nate Fosnot, the 8-hitter. First pitch comes in outside and low, 1-0 on Fosnot. This is his second start of the season in the 4 Gatemen appearances. .250, 1 for 4 with 1 RBI. Fosnot, the George Washington product, fouls this one down the line. Might be a play for the right fielder, Olsen, coming on, and it's just over the fence out of play. So the count will run to 1-1 on Nate Fosnot out of George Washington.
Running into the Gatemen bullpen out there along the first base line. Chatham has the bullpens that are in the field of play, so the pitchers and bullpen catchers and coaches have to be wary of that throughout the game.
Fosnot, a rising sophomore from Ephrata, Pennsylvania. Can steal bases, went 9 for 12 this year, and was on the A10 All-Rookie team as he had a .332 average at GW this year. As the righty takes from the righty, Stevens drives this one into the gap. It's going to be a base hit. Fosnot rounds first. He's heading for second. It's going to be a play at second. Here he comes, and it's cut off by the shortstop, Titus, in a 2-out double here for Nate Fosnot.
First extra base hit we've seen from Fosnot this season, and he ropes this one into left center field. A lot of these Gatemen hitters have been showing us they like to go the opposite way. Fosnot, he pulls this one into the left center gap between the left fielder and the center fielder, and it was a great job. Almost got to the wall, but definitely take second base there, even if the outfielders cut it off, because with 2 outs, you want to put yourself in scoring position.
Well, the 9-hitter, Andy Shaddad, is going to come in here with a runner in scoring position and 2 out here in the second inning. We've seen Shaddad get some clutch hits so far this year. He does have an RBI. He's 4 for 13 with a .308 average this year for Wareham. The Bradley University and Peoria, Illinois native, the righty, takes strike one on a breaking ball on the inside corner, 0-1 from Jacob Stevens out of BC. Shaddad spent his last summer in Kansas with the Hayes Larks, the Jayhawk League. Now here on Cape Cod in his first outing in the DH position today, as he started every game so far. As he takes another breaking ball, this one runs inside on him, 1-1. We saw Andy Shaddad strike out looking twice yesterday, both on pitches that were inside.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna be one that's gonna argue with the umpires on any occasion, but those pitches were inside. You're right, Sam.
All right, well, I had a tough view out from the outfield in the WCTV booth, but Andy Shaddad's going to take a 1-1 pitch here and swing and miss. And going back to second on a snap throw is the catcher, Pena, who went over to Titus at second, as taking a huge lead was Fosnot, and he had to dive back pretty quickly.
Yeah, Fosnot sort of lost his bearings out there between second and third base. Seemed like he was trying to bait that throw out of Pena, but I don't think that's a great idea. I think you're fast enough on any base hit to the outfield. Fosnot's going to score, but Shaddad's got to put the work in from the plate.
The righty Stevens in the stretch deals to Shaddad. He strikes out swinging, and that'll do it here from the second inning. No runs on a hit and no errors. No men left. 1 man left on base for the Gatemen here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. It's 1-0 Anglers.
We appreciate and thank the sponsors who support the Cape League and the 10 teams. Our corporate sponsors are the financial backbone of the league. It is with their support that we are able to preserve our long-standing tradition of providing the best family entertainment here on Cape Cod. On behalf of the visiting team, the Wareham Gatemen, league officers, and the entire Cape League family, we would like to announce and thank our 2017 corporate sponsors. With much appreciation, we recognize the Yawkey Foundation, Chatham Bars Inn, the Fuller Family Foundation, Dunkin' Donuts, Curry College, Cape Cod Healthcare, the 99 Restaurants, Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod Potato Chips, Friendly's Ice Cream, Baseball Factory, Cape and Island License Plate, 47 Brand, Cape Cod 5 Cents Saving Bank, Stop and Shop, Peapod. We'll be back to you in the next inning for the second half of this outstanding list of loyal sponsors.
Welcome back here. It's the bottom half of the second inning. The Anglers leading the Gatemen 3-0 here in the bottom half of the second. Jake Palomaki is going to lead it off for Chatham, and Blakely Brown back on the mound for Wareham. Brown did struggle quite a bit in the first inning, giving up those 3 runs on 3 hits. As the pitch comes in outside to Palomaki, the Boston College player, teammate of today's pitcher for Chatham, Jacob Stevens, as he shows bunt, gets it down the third baseline, and the catcher, Enchia, throws over to first, not in time. Probably should have let that one roll foul, but he decided not to, instead picked it up and threw it over to first, not nearly in time to catch the speedy Palomaki out of Boston College. And one on.
I didn't think that was the right play there by Enchia, but maybe he saw something in the spin of the ball that made him believe that that one was going to stay fair. I mean,
but from our angle up here, it looked like it was going to roll foul.
Eventually, you just got to let that one roll out and see what it does.
Because at that point, he wasn't going to get him anyway. Bobby Brennan is going to step in, the 9-hitter, number 56 for Chatham, facing Blakely Brown, who now is back in the stretch with the first man on in this inning. Deals a strike on the inside corner to Brennan. Brennan is 0 for 4 this year with a walk in 1 game played. the Palm Beach Atlantic player from Cape Coral, Florida. Brennan, the righty, facing the righty. Brown chops it back into the glove of Anchia. Foul ball. Brennan transferred from the University of Maine after his freshman season. And this year at Palm Beach, in 2016 at Palm Beach, went 317, 15 RBIs, and a 423 on-base percentage. But has battled some injuries in his college career. Only played 11 games in 2017 as he takes a ball up high, 1-2 now on Bobby Brennan. As this is a big batter for Blakely Brown. You don't want to go down by more than 3-0 here in the second inning. Already a man on first, and Brown struggled so far as he faces Brennan, fouled away. Staying alive is the 9-hitter. Only played 11 games this year battling that injury. Hit 231.
Well, it's the second inning, but like I said, you got to think about it as if it's the fourth inning. So Blakely Brown here doesn't have a long leash on him right now. You got to make sure that you get out of this inning cleanly. That starts with this
Brown
pitch.
in the stretch going is the runner. Strike on the outside corner, and they get him at second. Anchia with a beautiful throw to Brandon Lockridge covering second base, and a caught stealing from Anchia, and a strike him out, throw him out. Makes it 2 outs all of a sudden here in the second inning. Good play there from Anchia.
Great play all around. It was the fastball by Blakely Brown that made that possible. A lot of velocity on it. If you throw anything off speed, I don't think Anchia is going to get the runner, so he makes up for his mistake fielding that bunt over there on the third base line before.
DJ Artis steps in, takes the ball. That Gateman strikeout was brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. First strikeout of the day for the Gatemen. Pitch to the lefty Artis, is a strike on the outside corner. 1-1. DJ Artis in his second at bat, the Big South Player of the Year. The lefty takes a ball down low. 2-1. As Brown starts to pick that windup back up. Very fast delivery to Artis as he swings and flies this one into center field. Should be a routine play coming on as Dodson dives and makes the play. Not a routine play. He had to cover a lot of ground out there in center field, and Tanner Dodson just dove. Not full extension, but made the play out in center field. No runs on a hit and no errors in that inning. Chatham up 3-0, heading to the top half of the third.
Continuing with our corporate sponsors, we also want to recognize and thank Franklin Sports, Advanced Embroidery, Cape Destinations, Robert B. R., Sullivan Tire, Vacation Inn Cape Cod, Cape Cod Veterinary Specialists, Cape Cod Times, Kinlan Grover Real Estate, Next Radio, Yellow Book, TSA, Rawlings, Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, Highline Cruises, Sports Picks, On Deck Sports, Barnstable Bat, Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce, HP Hood, Sunderland Printing, and Axis Bats. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support. Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball.
Welcome back. It's the top half of the third inning of a 7-inning game 1 of a doubleheader between the Anglers and the Gatemen. Gatemen down by a score of 3-0 as the leadoff hitter Brandon Lockridge will start off this top half of the third inning for Wareham. Lockridge swings at the first pitch from Stevens and fouls it away into the netting behind home plate. 0-1 on the leadoff hitter Lockridge from Troy University. Lockridge did start off this game with a single and then eventually advanced to third, but was unable to score after Luke Bonfield hit into a 6-4-3 double play to end that first inning. The righty Lockridge faces Stevens and takes a breaking ball. Good pitch there from Stevens on the inside corner. Strike 2. 0-2 on Lockridge here in the top half of the third inning. Lockridge now 4 for 12 on the year, hitting .333. As he swings and lines this one to the left side, played by the shortstop in a tough play, and Lockridge is safe at first. Well hit ball. Titus could not get over to it and make the play in time. A weak throw over to first as he was on the run. And Lockridge with his second hit of the day.
Well, even if that was a perfect throw, I don't know if it was going to be enough to get Lockridge. That ball skipped a few times in the ground. But Brendan Lockridge, the second baseman from Troy University, he's got a lot of speed, and he showed it off right there. Second base hit of the day, and hopefully this time the Gatemen can really get some hits together and drive in some runs this time, because they didn't in the first inning.
Well, Lockridge has done his job both times, getting on base to start the inning, and now Tanner Dodson, who walked back in the first, steps in. Takes a strike on the outside corner from Jacob Stevens on a fastball. Dodson, we mentioned he can also pitch. The Elk Grove, California native, goes to California Berkeley. 20 extra base hits this year with a .297 average for the Golden Bears, as a pickoff attempt from Stevens goes over to first base. Lockridge back in time as they're checking on that speedy runner over at first. Dodson was drafted by the Mets in the 31st round, but chose to attend college, as this ball goes back over to first base.
Well, you got to keep constantly checking on Lockridge. He's really a threat to go. Don Sneddon sending in signs from the dugout right now, and they're being communicated throughout the infield by the Gatemen staff.
Trying to wear down Lockridge with those dives back to first base as the righty Stevens deals, and swung on and missed by Dodson, number 28, the lefty. 0-2 now on Tanner Dodson.
Just behind that fastball, usually you don't see a lot of fastballs on the outside corner from a righty going to a lefty. I think Dodson assumed that was going to be a changeup when he saw what the location of that pitch was.
Dodson 2 for 4, but as he takes a ball on the outside corner. 2-2 now. Dodson is 2 for 4 this year, but has reached base 4 times, has 2 walks. He's California native, lefty, as the ball goes back over to first base on a pickoff attempt of Brandon Lockridge, but he dives back safely once again. Just those dives might wear down a runner like that, and that extra tiring could play a role on a stolen base attempt by Lockridge over there at first. Dodson, as Lockridge does go, swing and a miss, and the catcher, Pena, could not get the transfer off cleanly, so Lockridge is into second, but Dodson strikes out swinging. One away here in the third inning, and now a runner in scoring position for Willie McIver.
Well, obviously striking out is not what they wanted Tanner Dodson to do right there was the Gatemen bench, but Lockridge does a good job taking off for second base. Thankfully for him, the ball was in the dirt, and Pena wasn't able to field it cleanly.
Looked like Lockridge was just swinging away there.
Now the fog is really starting to come in, Sam.
Looked like Dodson was swinging away there, and yes, the fog has picked up here in Chatham as Willie McIver steps in. The third baseman, the righty, fouls this one over the Gatemen dugout, 0-1.
It's going to be a long day for both these teams, but especially the Gatemen. They hopped on a bus in Wareham around 1 o'clock this afternoon, and they're going to be here till roughly 10 o'clock tonight with this doubleheader. It's a grueling schedule.
Yeah, for certain, and we'll see if that fog plays a role as McIver swings and pops this one up behind the plate. And coming on is the first baseman, Patton, but it goes into the crowd behind the Gatemen dugout. McIver, a 2017 All-Pac-12 honorable mention, and started every single game for the Washington Huskies this year. He's such an important player to have in a lineup. Can play third, can play first, can play catcher.
Don't be fooled by that honorable mention tag. In the Pac-12, they don't have first, second, and third teams. You're either all Pac-12 or your all Pac-12 honorable mention. So that's the equivalent of second or third team in most conferences. So McIver had a really good year for the Huskies.
27 RBIs and 26 runs scored for McIver. The righty facing Stevens. And he gets hit, and it might have been a foul ball. They call it a hit by pitch. So McIver over to first. Lockridge will remain at second. Now 2 runners on for Jake Anchia. As that ball came inside, from my angle, I thought it hit the knob of his bat, but the umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, the sound was the knob of the bat, but I think it's because it went from McIver's finger to the knob of the bat. So that's what we heard. McIver clearly in pain. It looks like it hit his finger, but he's all right. He's at first base. Don Sneddon going to check on him, but now he's back in the dugout.
He'll try to shake that one off as Jake Anchia, today's catcher, will step in. Walked back in the first inning, then was forced out at second on a Luke Bonfield double play. Anchia, number 16 from Nova Southeastern, the righty, facing Jacob Stevens from Boston College. And the ball comes in low in the dirt. So a 1-0 count on Jacob Anchia.
You can see clouds of fog sort of come out into the outfield from the left field side and travel towards right field. A lot of fog, a lot of low clouds here in Chatham.
See if that plays a role in any fly balls today as Jake Anchia takes a 1-0 pitch, fouls it back behind home plate into the netting. 1-1.
I think the umpires are going to do everything in their power to let this game go on for as long as possible. The league certainly doesn't want Wareham to drive out all this way only to play a couple innings of what's supposed to be a 14-inning day.
Absolutely, and 2 runners on here for Wareham as Anchia grounds this one to short. On to second for 1, and they go to first. They get the double play. Titus to Shaw to Patton, 6-4-3. And that'll do it here in the top half of the third inning. We'll send it to Jacob Toby for a quick game break.
All right, and thank you, Sam. Game break here. We're going to take a look around the Cape. We first start in Cotuit. The Kettleers beat the Brewster Whitecaps 4-3. The Commodores beat the Orleans Firebirds by a final score of 5-2. That gives the Commodores their first win of the season. Orleans is still winless. They're the last winless team in the Cape Cod Baseball League at 0-4. The Harwich Mariners beat the Harbor Hawks 6-0 in the first games of the doubleheader. Of course, YD and Bourne, that game was postponed because of the rain. And now we go into the second game of the doubleheaders. Brewster and Cotuit knotted up at 0. It's still in the bottom of the first. Hyannis and Harwich knotted up at 0 in the bottom of the second. Again, YD and Bourne, the game 2 is also postponed, and Orleans at Falmouth should be starting at 6 o'clock. And I will send it back to Sam Corman and Connor Federico for the call, guys.
Reminder to listen to the next game wherever you go with the Next Radio app. Catch this station's local broadcast or stream all the action right on your phone. And visit the Google Play Store and download the free Next Radio app today. As head coach and pitching coach Jim Lawler, head coach Don Seddon and pitching coach Jim Lawler showing some confidence in their pitcher Blakely Brown as he comes out for the third inning in a 7-inning game. Wareham down by a score of 3-0.
Well, we thank Jacob for that game break. He told us Cotuit lost their first game today, which drops them down to 2-1. And now the Gatemen are tied with them, first place in the Western Division standings. So a win for the Gatemen in this first game of the doubleheader would put them essentially in first place in the driver's seat of the Western Division.
Josh Shaw will be the first hitter to face Blakely Brown in the third inning for Chatham, and he takes a ball low. Looks like a changeup there from Blakely Brown to start off on Josh Shaw. Shaw singled and came around to score back in the first inning, the second of 3 Chatham runs. Shaw is now 5 for 10 on the year. One of the most impressive hitters so far in this Chatham lineup. Also has 2 RBIs added to that. The righty takes a ball inside from Blakely Brown. Shaw, the Big East freshman of the year out of St. John's. From Wayne, New Jersey, hit .297 this year. In a very brief stint with the Cotuit Kettleers last year as he chops this one to first, and getting over to first late is the pitcher, and it gets by him. And staying at first is the hitter, Josh Shaw, as a miscommunication there between the first baseman, Sabol, and the pitcher, Blakely Brown, as Brown took a while to get over to first base covering and got to make that play.
I don't know what the deal there with Blakely Brown was, but it should be every time you see the ball hit close to first base on the right side that you're hustling over to first base to cover the bag. So I don't know why he thought that he shouldn't. Maybe he thought that the second baseman, Lockridge, was going to field the ball, but that's a poor judgment by the pitcher, and you're not helping yourself right there.
The righty, Jacob Olson, with a runner on first now for the Chatham Anglers, takes a ball inside from Brown.
That's why coaches practice that drill so much, and the Gatemen were practicing that the other day before the Falmouth game.
It's already the 5th hit for the Anglers so far here in the third inning as Jacob Olson from South Carolina steps in. And he takes the 1-0 pitch and pops it up in the infield to the shortstop. Fosnot makes the play pretty routinely, and there's one away here in the third inning. So right as I was introducing Jacob Olson, he goes down, and Nick Patton is the next guy to step in for Chatham. doubled back in the first inning. He's in the 4-hole today. And that double scored DJ Artis. Patton hitting 2 for 5 at 400 so far this year. This is his second appearance in the Anglers lineup so far in 2017. Delaware Blue Hen takes a ball low from Blakely Brown, we've seen a lot of first pitch balls from Brown today.
Yeah, he's been sort of all over the place in terms of his command. His speeds are good. The fastball to change up is a lot different, and I think it's throwing hitters' timing off, but he's going fastball more consistently than anything.
And the runner goes and slapped into center field, and the hit and run right to the center fielder. Dodson makes the play. They'll get back to first for the double play. A great play by Tanner Dodson. Fires that from center field all the way to first base on the fly. An incredible throw by Dodson, and a double play ends the inning here in the bottom half of the third inning. No runs on a hit and no errors. We'll go to the fourth, and it's 3-0 Chatham on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Fuller Family Foundation is proud to support the excellent sportsmanship and character of the Cape Cod Baseball League. The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark. Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Welcome back here. It's the top half of the fourth inning, and Jacob Stevens back on the mound. It appears for Chatham.
Yeah, and Stevens has done a great job in this game so far. He's got a good crew of infielders behind him, and the outfield's been solid so far. Bonfield's leading off this inning for the Gatemen. His very first at-bat of this 2017 summer, he grounded into a double play, so I think this time you got to drive the ball hard somewhere, and you got to make sure you get on base, appease these Gatemen fans, because they really want to see you do something this summer.
The righty Bonfield swings at the first pitch and lines it foul down the third base line. So 0-1 quickly on the Arkansas Razorback. Luke Bonfield, the New Jersey native, who has a .437 career slugging percentage at Arkansas and is one of the top recruits nationally on perfectgame.com. Takes a ball low, 1-1 on Luke Bonfield, who hit into a 6-4-3 double play that ended a pretty impressive Gateman first inning.
The Gatemen have done that twice, 2 6-4-3s.
Bonfield takes a curveball in the dirt, 2-1 now. Bonfield, we mentioned he was with the Gatemen for 2 games last year, but he was also with the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox in 2015. Hit .211 with 6 RBIs out there for the Red Sox. Bonfield, the outfielder, swings and grounds this one down third. A good play by Palomaki, fires over to Patton, and Patton makes the play at first. Bonfield retired 5-3, 1 out in the fourth.
Yeah, and that was a really good play by the first baseman, Patton. I mean, it was a great flash of the glove by Palomaki at third base. But Patton doing what he did on the 1-3 ground ball by Topa back in the second inning. He rotates his left foot, puts it into foul territory in order to catch an errant throw and still keep that right foot on the bag.
Blake Sabol sets in now and takes a ball low from Jacob Stevens. We haven't seen the greatest of command either from Stevens, just the Gatemen haven't been able to get that clutch hit yet. As the pitch comes in, foul back behind the plate. and count runs to 1-1 on Blake Sabol.
Well, pitchers struggle with command all the time, and when it really goes wrong for some pitchers is when you do throw the strikes, the other team's hitting them for base hits and batting the order around.
Sabol takes a 1-1 pitch in the dirt, 2-1 now on the USC Trojan.
By my measures today, the only difference between Stevens and Brown so far has been when Brown throws strikes, the Chatham Anglers have been getting base hits off it. That's what the Gatemen have been struggling to do. When they get the strikes, they can't convert.
Sabol takes a fastball just outside, and the count runs to 3-1 on today's first baseman. We've seen Sabol. He's notably a catcher, but we've seen him mostly at first base so far this season. The righty swings and chops this one down the line, bringing the count to 3-2 here with 1 out in the 4th inning.
That's the second time Sabol's almost had an extra base hit, hitting one down the line. They both go foul in his first at-bat. He hit one that just missed along the third base line. This one now along the first base.
Out of high school was a top 10 catcher nationally. Sabol takes a ball low, and he was going to work a walk here with 1 out in the 4th inning. So Sabol is on.
The left fielder, number 14,
John Topa steps in for Wareham, is 0 for 1 today. Grounded back to the pitcher back in the 2nd inning. Topa hitting at a 4 for 13 mark so far this season, with 2 RBIs, tied for the team lead, along with Blake Sabol and Willie McIver. As the first pitch comes in from Stevens in the dirt, 1-0. We've seen a lot of those curveballs get down there in the dirt. The batter's box there is pretty dirty there in front of the plate.
Yeah, when Stevens throws that curveball, he starts it at the hitter's knees and then lets it drop down into the dirt. Stopa calls time. It's a great pitch by him because he's going fastball and changeup most of the time, so when he does work that curveball in, it initially looks like a strike, fools the hitter.
1 on and 1 out as Sabol gets back to first just in time on a pickoff attempt from Stevens over to his first baseman, Patton. John Topa, who grounded back to the pitcher back in the 2nd inning. He's a UConn product, one of 2 UConn players in this Gatemen roster. Swings and misses, the blew him by on changeup. Might have been out in front on that one.
Yeah, 3 UConn players. We've got Nepiarski, Fioli, and UConn's John Topa right here. Plenty of Huskies.
Topa, the righty against Stevens, fouls this one away down the first baseline, and a squad of children going to chase that one down out in right field.
Not to mention the Washington Huskies we have in Ben Baird, the shortstop who's sitting out in terms of Fosnot today, and Willie McIver, who's batted in the 3 spot for each of the Gatemen's regular season games.
Many Huskies on this Gatemen roster.
Yep.
Not many on the Chatham roster who lead 3-0 here in the 4th inning as John Topa with 1 on and 1 out on a 1-2 count faces the righty Stevens in the dirt. Count runs to 2-2 as Topa tries to work himself back into this at bat. We have seen some clutch hitting from Topa. Mentioned he started that 9th inning last night against Falmouth en route to a 3-run 9th inning that gave the Gatemen a win as he grounds this one down the line past the first baseman, Patton. Rounding second is Sabol. He goes to third. And advancing to second and he's out. Topa tried to get to second on a play that probably shouldn't have gone to second on that. He was out by a mile as Olsen threw it in to the shortstop Titus, and he was out by a mile. So advancing to third on that play is Sabol, and there is 1 on still at third base with 2 out now here in the 4th inning.
Well, first base coach for the Gatemen, the entire Gatemen staff this year have showed over and over again that they're willing to take the risk of letting a runner rounding first go for second, trying to stretch a single into a double. That one had extra base hit written all over it. I think John Topa just took too big of a turn around first base.
Nate Fosnot, the righty, steps in from George Washington, takes a strike on the inside corner. A good pitch there to start off this at-bat from Jacob Stevens. Fosnot, who is 1 for 1 with a double on the day, drove that one out to the gap back in the 2nd inning, but that amounted to nothing after Andy Shadid followed that up with a strikeout swinging as he pops this one up behind the first baseman on the right side. Patton is there to make the play, and the side is retired here in the top half of the 4th inning. No runs on a hit, and one man left at third base for the Gatemen. They trail the Chatham Anglers 3-0 on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Thank you for coming out to today's game.
Welcome back to the Gatemen Baseball Network. Claudia came alongside Don Sneddon. So, Coach, first of all, that catch or that throw from Tanner to end the 3rd inning, how crucial was that for the continuing of this game?
Well, everything's a big play. That obviously helps along with that. But for the most part, again, you know, we got to be able to put balls in plays. We hit in 2 double plays. That seems to be something this club's doing way too often, and I'm a little concerned about that.
There's some easy mistakes going on in this game, both on defense and base running we just saw. So what do you need this team to improve on the rest of the game?
Well, we got to get the clutch hit once again on that. We had some opportunities in that first inning, and we made a huge error in that first inning where he lost the ball in the fog a little bit up there, and that extended that inning. So we got to be able to get that clutch hit again and put us on the board.
Great. Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Sam.
And, of course, also a tough play for John Topa there, rounding first base, going for second, trying to stretch that single into a double. Just could not get there in time. One of the slower of the Gatemen roster players. We mentioned how much speed is in this lineup. Even the catchers, McIver, Sabol, they're fast players, and they can steal bases when they need to.
Well, what I would have liked to see Topa do on that last play is stay at first, let Sabol take off for third. You would have had runners on the corners with 1 out. Then you let Topa steal that base for the Gatemen. Then you have runners on third and second with 1 out. So I think a little bit of a blunder. Claudia just talked with Coach Sneddon about avoiding the easy mistakes. That's what they have to do moving forward.
Fabian Pena is going to lead it off, and he's going to swing at the first pitch off Blakely Brown, who's still in the game, and it's popped up, and Sabol makes the play routinely in foul territory. So 1 pitch and 1 out for Blakely Brown. That's exactly what he needed in this 4th inning. Fabian Pena is now 0 for 1 with a sac fly to center. Jimmy Titus steps in, the 6th hitter in this lineup for Chatham Anglers. Has that very open stance, number 2 in blue. Takes a strike on the inside corner. 0-1 on Jimmy Titus out of Bryant University. The Stratford, Connecticut native down near the shore on Long Island Sound. Takes the 0-1, curveball way up high. Looked like it was at the helmet at the time that it crossed the plate.
Well, that's where it started, but it ended up near chest level by the time it was in the glove of Anchia. Really good action on that pitch.
Good action, but too high, and the ball comes back up the middle and through for a base hit for Jeremy Titus. So on a 1-1 count, Titus is aboard with 1 out here in the 4th inning.
2 for 2 is Titus today. He had that RBI single back in the 1st inning, and now he has a base hit up the middle in the 3rd. That's just a really good piece of hitting right there. You take a fastball coming down the center of the plate, you hit it back to where it comes from, takes a high hop over the head of Blakely Brown, and now the Anglers are in business again.
In a 2016 first-team All-Southern Conference, Austin Eden steps in, swings at the first pitch, grounded to first. Sabol onto the shortstop, Fosnop, throw was low, back to first, and the runner is safe. Edens, as he decks the pitcher, Brown covering at first base.
But he offered him a hand getting up, and Blakely Brown wasn't having any of it. Not fun getting trucked by a runner, but good display of sportsmanship on the Anglers' side right there. A really difficult double play to turn after Sabol threw that one a little too low to Fosnot.
Yeah, the 3-6-1 double play is always probably one of the toughest to turn in the infield, as Edens is Edens hits into a fielder's choice. He's now at first base. Titus is back on the Chatham Anglers dugout, and Palamaki, the 3rd baseman, is going to step in. He hit a single back in the 2nd inning, but was then caught stealing. And the lefty in this lineup steps in against the righty, number 45, Brown. Throws a fastball inside on the first pitch of the at-bat, 1-0 from the Georgia Bulldog, Blakely Brown, on Jake Palomaki, another Boston College player in this Chatham lineup from Kennesaw, Georgia. Jake Palomaki upstairs, 2-0 now, as Brown now behind in the count once again. We've seen that quite a bit this game from the SEC product.
Well, Blakely Brown's off-speed stuff looks really good. He's just not locating it.
And the 2-0 pitch comes in, good fastball on the low part of the plate, now 2-1. As there's some action in the bullpen. Can't quite detect the numbers from out this way. We'll get some more on that in a second, but the pitch comes in low. 3-1 now from Brown on Palomaki, who had a 281 average this year at BC with 2 home runs, 17 runs batted in, and a 446 on-base percentage. That much higher than his batting average. Just shows how much he walks. 31 walks this year as he takes a strike on the outside corner. So now a 3-2 count coming up.
You talked about how much he walks. He thought he was going to get another walk right there. Was about to throw the bat back towards the Anglers dugout, but instead he has to take a full count pitch. Runner should be in motion here with 2 outs.
Former Chatham Angler takes a ball inside, and the runner was going, but he's on to second automatically anyway on the walk from Brown. And Palomaki on first. First and second now with 2 out here in the 4th inning.
No matter what level of baseball you're playing, whether it's Little League or whether it's college ball here at the Cape Cod Baseball League, 2-out walks are a recipe for disaster. That's not what you wanted to do right there. If you were Blakely Brown, it was a good job working back in the count, though.
9-hitter Bobby Brennan steps in and takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1, as that walk also puts a runner in scoring position, even though there's 2 outs. Never a good idea to move those runners over into scoring position. As in the stretch, Brown, curveball, good pitch, kind of caught Brennan out in front as he fouled it off behind him.
You know, Gatemen pitchers have had some shaky innings this season. However, they've only given up runs in 3 of them. It was one of the innings early in the Hyannis game, no runs in the Harwich game, the 8th inning of the Falmouth game, and now this the 1st inning of this game. So they get it together for the most part, but it's just been a few big innings that have been hurting them.
The righty Brown against the righty. Brennan fouled back on the first base side, out of play. And warming up in the Gatemen bullpen right now is Justin Hageman, who we have not seen yet this year. The righty
from Penn State. Yep.
Out in the bullpen. Bobby Brennan is 0 for 1 with a strikeout back in the 2nd inning. That's the only strikeout of the day for Blakely Brown. 9-hitter, and time is called.
Yeah, Blakely Brown, he wants to make sure he delivers the right pitch right here. The 0-2 was just fouled away, so they're going to do the 0-2 again. This is the last pitch Blakely Brown should throw.
And the 0-2 comes into Brennan, and in there for a strike. Called strike 3, presented by... That strikeout is presented by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. We will go to the 5th inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left in that inning. We'll go to the 5th.
All-Star Game Weekend starts with a celebrity softball game on July 21st at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Come watch Jason Veritek, Bill Lee, Nancy Kerrigan, Scott Zolak, and other celebrities play ball in support of the Cape Cod Baseball League and Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital of Cape Cod. Gates open at 4 p.m. For more information and to buy tickets, go to allstarcapecod.org. That's allstarcapecod.org.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists, who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com, or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
top half of the 5th inning here in Chatham, Massachusetts. The Anglers lead the Gatemen 3-0, and a new pitcher for the Anglers coming in. It's a Presbyterian College product of Ryan Hedrick. A Trinity, North Carolina native, is heading into his senior year next year. And had a 3.5 ERA this year for Presbyterian. A 2-4 win-loss record, and led his Presbyterian team with 27 appearances. 33 strikeouts to 13 walks, fastball, changeup, curveball for Ryan Hedrick, coming in to face Andy Shadid, the 9-hitter, and the designated hitter.
Wasn't a bad day for Stevens, who threw 4 innings scoreless. He gave up 1 hit in each of those 4 innings, so 4 total, 3 strikeouts. So not a bad day for him. Right now he's in line for a W if Chatham can hold on. Gatemen hitters hoping they do not.
Another righty in Hedrick as he faces Shadid. Popped up right towards us behind the plate. I got to be careful for this one as it goes over our head on top of the press box, and we're all safe over here in the Gatemen broadcast booth.
Well, everybody's safe, thankfully. That one ended up landing in the stands. A lot of fog. I think we all lost it here. Man, now I see how difficult it must be for the fielders
and that
out there today.
Yeah, that might have played a role in Luke Bonfield dropping that ball out in right field back in the 1st inning, and that, of course, did result in some runs. Shadid takes a 0-1 pitch and shows bunt, gets it down right down the 3rd baseline. Can he get there? He's caught out at first. The catcher, Pena, over to Patton.
That was an outstanding play by Pena. Man, that was a perfectly placed bunt by Andy Shadid, and he's really upset right now that he didn't beat that one out. It was a great idea. He hasn't been swinging the bat well in his past 6 at-bats. So I think that was the right move, but man, what a throw by Pena on the money, just in time. Real bullet.
So Ryan Hedrick retires Shadid, and now 1 out, and he'll face Brandon Lockridge, who has yet to be retired today for Wareham. 2 for 2 with 2 singles, also stole a base back in the 3rd inning. And anytime he gets on, it seems like he's stealing bases left and right. The Troy University product, and a high school national champion with the Pensacola Catholic out in Pensacola, Florida. And Lockridge fouls it back behind home plate, 0-2 now, so he's in a hole.
Well, he's been doing what the Gatemen want him to do today, get that leadoff base hit. He did it in the 1st and the 3rd. Hitters behind him haven't been doing their jobs.
Lockridge 344 this year at Troy, swings, but this one gets by the catcher. It's going to be a close play at first, and he's not going to get there. Lockridge is safe at first in the drop 3rd strike, so now he's on for the 3rd time today. So a tough pitch there for Lockridge to lay off on for Ryan Hedrick, but swings and misses, and he strikes out, but he's on first base right now as the catcher Pena could not handle that one from his pitcher Ryan Hedrick.
Well, I don't know what Lockridge was thinking swinging at that pitch. It was a fastball that was just a few feet out in front of home plate. Usually you're never swinging at those, but it was an opportunity for him, I guess. Once he saw that the ball went through Pena, he advanced to first base pretty easily.
Tanner Dodson walked in the 1st inning and it struck out swinging in the 3rd. He takes a ball outside from Hedrick, 1-0 on him. Dodson is 2 for 6 so far this season at a .333 average. And this is his 2nd start for the Gatemen this season out of California, Berkeley. The lefty swings and fouls this one off into the Chatham dugout.
That would have been a good ball to drive the other way down the 3rd base line for the lefty hitting Dodson. Unfortunately, he was in full pull mode right there, trying to really hit the ball out of this ballpark out in right field. Short porch and the wind blowing out that way.
You've seen the defensive work of Dodson already today, making that great double play from center field to first base. Now we can see if he gets the bat going. This one's grounded into the hole on the right side for a base hit. Lockridge is going to have to stop at 2nd, but Dodson's on at 1st with a single. And now the Gatemen are cooking here with 1 out, 1st and 2nd here in the 5th.
Lockridge and Dodson, not the first time today we've seen them on the base paths together. Then McIver, Anchia, and Bonfield have failed to come through in the clutch and drive them in. So this time, with 1 out, McIver stands in, and he's really got to hit this ball hard somewhere, not ground into a double play like he has a couple times this season.
Dodson just found that hole on the right side with the Chatham middle infielders in double play depth. Shaw, the 2nd baseman, playing out towards 2nd, still in double play depth with runners on 1st and 2nd now. And Willie McIver steps in, the 3-hitter, takes a ball low, 1-0, with 1 out here in the 5th inning. And the Gatemen, all of a sudden, we've seen them have runners in the scoring position all day today. They just have not been able to get that big hit. We'll see if McIver can deliver like he did last night in the 9th inning. Although that was not the most prototypical walk-off hit, as it was a little dribbler up the right side in the infield, as Brian Hedrick's going to call for time.
The Gatemen haven't played this game poorly at all. In fact, it's only a 3-0 lead for Chatham, and it's only a 1-hit lead for Chatham. They have 6, the Gatemen have 5.
McIver, the University of Washington product, the righty in his stance, and holds off on that tough breaking ball. 2-0 now on McIver, who is now 5 for 15 this year. Was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd, struck out looking in the 1st. The righty, Ryan Hedrick, with runners at 1st and 2nd in his 1st inning of work, facing McIver, swung on and cranked out to left center field, chasing it down. This one's gone. Willie McIver has tied the game at 3 here in the 5th inning. He just cranked that one. No chance for Brennan or Artis out there in left and center, and we're all of a sudden tied.
Well, isn't that what we've finally been looking for from Willie McIver? He hits this ball deep out into left center field, and that one was a no-doubter. At Spillane Field, that ball might not have even reached the wall, but this one was gone. 357 out in left center field. That one was way more than that. I'd judge it to be about 380. Went into the tree line over there, and a lucky fan just grabbed that one right before the forest.
I don't know how the fans found that one out there in the forest. Must have been tough to spot up there in the fog, too, as McIver all of a sudden ties this game up, and Jake Anchia will face Hedrick, who is coming to this game and giving up a tough blow.
So McIver is the hero in back-to-back games so far. I mean, the Gatemen, this game isn't even close to being done yet, but last night the walk-off winner, and now you tie this game up at 3 runs apiece, each team with 6 hits.
And Chia took a strike on the outside corner. The second pitch comes in, and it's fouled away into the netting behind home plate. And Chia is 0 for 1 on the day. Walked back in the 1st inning, and then hit into a 6-4-3 double play that ended a 3rd inning in which the Gatemen had runners on 1st and 2nd. So, and Chia is now 1 for 8 on the season. And he'll try to extend this inning with 1 out off of Ryan Hedrick, grounded to 3rd. Palamaki over to the first baseman. Patton makes the play 2 away here in the 5th inning. And after the 3-run shot, and Chia is retired 5-3. Luke Bonfield is going to step in, who was retired 5-3 in the 4th inning.
Going back to that home run by McIver, I mean, you can't say enough about what he just did to that baseball. He hit it really hard with a great trajectory on it. You'd like to see that sort of consistency from McIver, what he's been doing the past 2 days.
A magical piece of hitting from McIver ties the game here in the 5th as the pitch to Luke Bonfield comes on a breaking ball inside, 1-0 on the Razorback.
What you have to admire about McIver is his short memory. I mean, he grounded into a couple double plays yesterday. He grounded into 2 ground balls today.
Bonfield takes a ball in the dirt, 2-0 now as he's heading the count. In 2017, in the SEC, 9 home runs and 49 RBIs for Luke Bonfield. The Skillman, New Jersey native takes the 2-0 and cranks this one opposite field. The right fielder, Olson, is there. This ball's in the fog, but he's going to make the play anyway to retire the side here in the 5th inning. But a Willie McIver bomb to left center field has tied this game at 3. 3 runs on the home run, 2 hits, and 1 error. We'll go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. 3-3, Chatham and Wareham.
Give the gift of life. Donating blood is an easy, quick, safe way to save a life. Blood collected at Cape Cod Healthcare blood drives stay on Cape Cod and is used to treat people here. For information on upcoming blood drives, or if your organization is interested in sponsoring a blood drive, visit capecodhealth.org or call 508-862-5278. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Welcome back. Here it's the bottom half of the fifth inning between the Anglers and the Gatemen. After William McIver's home run, it's tied at 3, and a new pitcher in for Wareham. We said he was warming up back in the bullpen last inning, and it's number 30, Justin Hagenman, in from Penn State for his season debut.
Justin Hagenman with the Penn State Nittany Lions this year. He had 14 starts, all of those for his appearances, and then 5.49 ERA, 75 strikeouts. He did have a 1-11 record on the mound this year, but that's not a quality of his pitching. That's a quality of Penn State had one of the worst years in their Big Ten history.
As Hagenman deals his first pitch as a Gateman outside, 1-0 on the leadoff hitter DJ Artis, who is 0 for 1 today with a flyout to center, also walked back in the first inning. 2-0 now as Hagenman dealing pretty quickly. The righty, the fourth righty we've seen of 4 pitchers today in this game. Hagenman on the outside corner, 2-1 now on DJ Artis. Artis is one of the top hitters in this league from Liberty University, and he swings and misses at a great breaking ball there from Hagenman. Caught him out in front. Artis, a .365 hitter this year at Liberty. Swings and drives this one the other way, but over the fence, out of play, foul. Now the count runs to 2-2.
Blakely Brown was pitching this entire game with the Chatham having the lead. He went 4 innings.
Artis fouls this one back. Last year with Chatham, Artis hit .271 with 12 RBIs and 19 runs scored. And in his Liberty career, he's played 111 games, 8 home runs, 86 runs batted in 114 walks compared to just 58 strikeouts for DJ Artis from Greensboro, North Carolina, facing Justin Hagenman. And takes this one, a beautiful breaking ball, called strike 3 on DJ Artis, 1 down here in the 5th. And that Gateman strikeout was brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. That's the 3rd one today brought to you by them.
Yeah, going back to that Blakely Brown stat line, he only had 2 strikeouts, and both of them came from the 9-hitter Bobby Brennan. Other than that, a pretty successful 4 innings. He only gave up 3 runs, all of them in that first inning on 6 hits.
The righty Josh Shaw steps in, number 5, takes a strike on another good breaking ball from Hagenman. That one came back in from the inside part of the plate. As the 0-1 pitch comes into Josh Shaw, the 2-hitter in this Chatham lineup. Shaw, the righty from St. John's University, takes the pitch from Hagenman, a heater up high, swings and misses on it. 1-2 now to Josh Shaw, the Big East freshman of the year, and a former Catuit Kettleer. Shaw from Hagenman. Swings and flies this out the other way. It could be trouble for the first baseman, Sabol, and it goes foul. That one almost landed in fair territory, but Sabol was having a tough time getting behind, chasing that ball in from the infield towards the outfield. Would have been a tough play had that landed fair. Kind of in a no-man's land there for the first baseman and the right fielder, Bonfield.
Thank goodness that ball went foul there for Sabol. I mean, nobody was getting to that. That's in the famed Bermuda Triangle. There's 2 of them on every baseball field. It's the little spot along each foul line right between the corner outfielder and the first baseman and second baseman.
The pitch to the righty, Shaw, outside. 2-2 now, as Hagenman tries to work through his first inning here in the 5th of a 7-inning doubleheader game. As this one's grounded back, could be a tough play for the shortstop. Fosnot fires the first quickly, in time. Good play from Fosnot, getting that ball as quickly as possible over to Sabol at first. And the second out is retired here in the 5th inning.
Well, Shaw did all he could do there. He ran that one out as fast as he possibly could, but Fosnot, fantastic shortstop, just like Ben Baird, both of them for the Gatemen this year playing at that 6-hole position. They both have really great arms, and that's the reason Fosnot retired the batter.
The righty Jake Olson takes a ball in the dirt to start his at-bat, his third at-bat of the day. He's 0 for 2. Grounded to short in the first, popped out to short in the third. We haven't really had much time to introduce Jacob Olson because he's been swinging away at these first or second pitches. 6 home runs, 27 RBIs this year for the University of South Carolina. As he swings, lines this one off the glove of Sabol at first and into right field for a base hit. Great piece of hitting opposite field by Olson, almost a greater play by Sabol, but just off his glove and into right. So Olson's on with a 2-out single.
That one for sure will be ruled a single over the head of Sabol. I mean, Sabol almost got his glove on it. He did get his glove on it, but it was really high over his head and not a lot of time to react. So maybe Sabol catches that one 9 times out of 10, but that one gets over his head this time.
So Olson, the Monroe, Georgia native, is on first. And Nick Patton is at the plate, the cleanup hitter at first base today.
Sabol holding on the runner at first base.
As the righty Patton steps in, and Hageman pitches, and in the dirt, 1-0 on Nick Patton, who's playing first base today, the Delaware Blue Hen. From Butler, Pennsylvania. Mentioned he was a Louisville Slugger freshman All-American in 2016 for Delaware. Hit .285 that year with 12 home runs. Pitch comes in high at the belt. They call it a strike, 1-1. And Nick Patton did not like that call. He thought it was high.
Former freshman All-American at the plate. Former freshman Louisville Slugger freshman All-American on the mound. Justin Hageman, also a Big Ten All-Freshman team member back in 2016 with a 6-3 record.
Same year, Louisville Slugger freshman All-American. As this pitch comes in from Hageman on the outside corner, a great pitch there. And it's now 1-2. Once again, Patton thought that one was outside. 2017, Patton improved his batting average from .285 to .312. And that 1.026 on-base plus slugging percentage is very, very impressive. Anytime you can get that over 1, it's very impressive. Runner goes, but the ball is fouled away on the right side. Chatham really trying to work that hit and run. I believe that's the 3rd time they've attempted that today with a runner on first base. The first time it worked beautifully. The second time it was a strike him out, throw him out. So a little bit of both here. And now the 3rd time it goes foul, so nothing doing at first base in Jacob Olson from South Carolina.
Well, second baseman Lockridge is at a double play depth, which is a little confusing.
And the pitch comes inside to Patton.
Confusing because there's 2 outs. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I think he should be playing more towards the right side because you have Sable. He's covering first base.
The former Amsterdam Mohawk, Nick Patton at the plate. Runner goes again. This one's driven out to right field and deep. Forget about this one. It's on the hill. It's 5-3 Chatham on a 2-run bomb by Nick Patton. 14 home runs for Delaware this year and gets his first of the season here for the Anglers to put them back on top after Justin Hageman.
So neither starter gives up a home run in this game, and the bullpen guys immediately coming out. It's Hedrick for Chatham, and now Hageman for Wareham. Give up home runs here in the bottom of the 5th.
The first home runs we've seen here in the Gatemen season on both sides. And now Chatham back on top after surrendering that 3-0 lead in the top half of the inning. They take the lead 5-3. That one was cranked out opposite field over that 357 sign in right center. You got to watch out for those cars up there on top of that hill. I don't know how deep that hill goes up, but... And this one's grounded to third by the hitter Pena. Bobbled at third by McIver, and this one will be an error. Pena's on first, and with 2 out, the inning will continue. It'll be Jimmy Titus, the shortstop, who's 2 for 2, with a chance now with a runner on first.
Well, that error on McIver was caused by the broken bat hit of Pena. When you break the bat, sometimes it creates a different sort of spin on the ball. So McIver was planning on that ball just going into his glove, fielding it cleanly, and making a throw on at first base. Instead, it skips under his glove because McIver came up a little too early, just took his eye off the ball there, expected it to spin a certain way, and it span the opposite way.
Jimmy Titus is 2 for 2 with 2 singles in this game. Number 2 at the plate takes a strike on the outside corner on a slider. Good pitch there from Hageman. Jimmy Titus out of Bryant University from Stratford, Connecticut. Northeast Conference Rookie of the Year, takes a ball in the dirt, 1-1. Last year played for the Bristol Blues and went .288 with 34 hits in 36 games down in Bristol, Connecticut, home of ESPN. Jimmy Titus swings and fouls this one behind the net into the parking lot. Watch out for all those cars back there behind this Veterans Field here in Chatham. As number 2 in white, the righty, staring down Hageman, who takes his time in the stretch with a runner on first in 2 out here in a 5-3 game. As Titus swings and misses, he's down swinging. But the Chatham Anglers get 2 runs on 2 hits and the home run. And they leave one man back on base on the error by Willie McIver. We will go to the 6th. 5-3 Anglers.
All-Star Game Weekend starts with a celebrity softball game on July 21st at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Come watch Jason Veritek, Bill Lee, Nancy Kerrigan, Scott Zolak, and other celebrities play ball in support of the Cape Cod Baseball League and Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital of Cape Cod. Gates open at 4 p.m. For more information and to buy tickets, go to allstarcapecod.org. That's allstarcapecod.org. The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
The USC Trojan Blake Sable steps in as the first batter here in the top half of the 6th inning. And the Chatham Anglers cranked a 2-run home run out to right field off the stick of Nick Patton. And we have a 5-3 game. Just 2 innings remain here, though. Reminder that it is a 7-inning game with a doubleheader. Another game coming up. You can join the broadcast team for that one coming up at 8 o'clock as the first pitch to Blake Sable comes in on the outside corner for a strike. Sable is 0 for 1 with a walk. Grounded back to the pitcher, Jacob Stevens, back in the 2nd inning. As Ryan Hedrick is out for his 2nd inning of work. Hedrick and Sable fly this one out to left field. Running on is Brennan to make the catch, and there's one away. Hedrick works in the stretch, always, not just when there's runners on base. But an interesting tidbit there is that Hedrick is a stretch pitcher, similar to the likes of Mariano Rivera.
Well, you're seeing it more and more in baseball now, where guys who know that they're just going to come out of the bullpen in relief, sometimes they'll assume that they'll inherit runners on base, and they're just more comfortable working out of the stretch.
So Sable goes down F7, and John Topa, who is 1 for 2 on the day with a single back in the 4th inning, will step in. And his team trails by 2 runs, looking for some more late-inning magic like they had last night. Topa swings and drives this one out to the gap in right center, and it's going to be a single for John Topa as the center fielder Artis cuts it off and gets it back into the infield, preventing nothing more. So Topa's on with 1 out, his 2nd hit of the day.
Well, on the first hit that he had in the 3rd inning, he drove it past the first base side and tried to extend it into a double. That didn't work out for him. This time he's safely on first base. He has the speed to steal one. Let's see if Don Sneddon will put him in motion.
Nate Fosnot, the 8-hitter, and the shortstop steps in. The righty takes a ball inside, well framed by the catcher for Chatham, Pena. And Fosnot, who is 1 for 2 with a double and a pop out to first base, steps in here for his third at-bat and a runner on first. And he swings, grounded to second. This could be 2. Shaw to Titus, back to first, double play. 4-6-3. Shaw, Titus to Patton. And the Gatemen go down here. No runs on a hit, no errors, and no men left. We'll send it to a game break with our host, Jacob Toby.
All right, thank you, Sam, as we listen to the Gatemen losing to the Chatham Anglers 5-3. Let's head over to Cotuit, where it's a 1-1 game. Cotuit is hosting Brewster. They are in the top of the 5th. Hop over to Falmouth. The Commodores, they are losing 5-0 to the Firebirds in the top of the 2nd. Of course, these games are both the 2nd games of the doubleheaders. Remember, Orleans, the last team that is defeated in the Cape League, they're 0-4, but they're up 5-0 in the top of the 2nd, looking for their first win of the season. Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Harwich Mariners, they're both tied at 0-0, the top of the 6th. And, of course, Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox and the Bourne Braves rained out in their 2nd game and first game of the doubleheader. And, of course, after this game, the Gatemen will play the Chatham Anglers again. That should be coming up at around 8 p.m. Sam, send it back to you guys in the booth.
Welcome back here. It's the bottom half of the 6th inning of a 7-inning matchup. Reminder that you can listen to Game 2 of this twin bill with our broadcasters Jacob Toby and Connor Federico. Connor Federico will be on the call on the play-by-play in the next game.
No, you'll be on color. Jacob will be on play-by-play.
Oh, excuse me.
You'll be here. I'm getting kicked off.
We have quite a rotation here in Wareham between the broadcasters. I almost forgot what was going on.
Were you trying to give yourself a break for the 2nd game? Are you kidding me right now?
I was just trying to provide credit as where it's due.
We got to put in the work here, Sam.
As Austin Edens, the designated hitter, will step in here in the 6th inning. On Justin Hageman is still the pitcher. The righty throws a breaking ball way up high at the shoulders of Edens. So Edens is 0 for 2, hit into a fielder's choice back in the 4th, and grounded out to first in the 1st. As he takes ball outside. Count runs to 2-1. Or excuse me, that was a strike on the outside corner. A good pitch there on the slider. Caught the outside corner, 2-1 count. Swing and a miss on a fastball.
Oof.
Blew it by him.
Well, Hageman got the start he wanted back in the 5th inning. He got a strikeout looking of Artist and then a ground ball out from Shaw, then a 2-out single and a 2-out home run. That's why Chatham has the lead.
Austin Edens gets hit on the 2-2 pitch, and he's heading down to first base as Hageman hit him in the elbow. But Edens shakes it off. The Baton Rouge, Louisiana native now on first to lead off this inning. Not how you wanted to start the inning for a pitcher who gave up that big bomb last inning to Nick Patton.
Well, he was really close for getting out of that inning, getting out of that batter too. He had a 2-2 count, and it instead just runs in a pitch that hits him in the hand, and now looks like we're going to get a pinch runner.
And we'll get that in a second, as it's Mason Coppins heading into the game for Chatham. He'll be at first base for the Anglers, as stepping in now for Chatham to hit is Palomaki. Jake Palomaki takes a ball, strike on the outside corner. Probably doesn't like that call. Looked like it was outside from here, but they give Hageman the pitch. Palomaki from Boston College is 1 for 1 on the day, walked back in the 4th inning, but was caught stealing at second in the 2nd inning on a strike him out, throw him out. As Hageman goes over to first to try to scare away Mason Coppins, the Northeastern product at first base. The New Orleans, Louisiana native came to Connecticut for his high school baseball, went to the Salisbury School, an all-boys school up in northwest Connecticut. So Coppins at first has the speed, the pinch runner. They go for a pickoff attempt again, and Hageman keeping Coppins close at first, but he runs back safely. Palomaki at the plate, 281 in 2017 at Boston College. a former member of the Ocean State Waves of the NACBL, tried to bunt that one and looked like he fouled it off as that one came up and inside, and it'll be a foul ball there. The count runs to 0-2 as Austin Edens, Mason Coppins, the pinch hitter or the pinch runner, remains at first base.
That's what you do when you see a guy show bunt. You sort of run it in high and inside, because that's, unless they drop the bat, that's really the one place where they can't pull the bat back in time for it to be either ruled a swinging strike or a foul ball.
And they go over to the first baseman, Sabel. And the pickoff attempt, once again, not successful, as they're just trying to scare away the speedy Mason Coppins. As this ball is chopped foul down the third baseline by Palomaki. Palomaki spent 2015 with the Ocean State Waves of the NACBL. Hit .203 with 10 runs batted in. Coppins at first is a former member of the Rockville Express, in which he was 12 of 13 stealing bases in 2016 for them. As this one comes in outside to Palomaki, 1-2 on the Boston College Golden Eagle, heading into his senior year. And in limited action with the Chatham Anglers last year, had 6 RBIs, hit .215. Runner goes, ball fouled away as they had the hit and run on once again. But Palomaki staying alive in this at bat at 1-2, as Hageman's pitch count continues to rise in his second inning of work. Coppins at first after Edens was hit by a pitch to lead off this inning. And then Edens, the designated hitter, was taken out here in the second to last inning of this first game of a two-game doubleheader between Chatham and Wareham in Chatham. As this ball up the middle for a base hit, runner was not going on that, so stopping at second is Coppins. Palomaki's on with a single, now first and second with nobody out here in the sixth inning. And it's crucial for Hageman to get this Chatham lineup down here and get Gatemen up in the seventh with just a 2-run deficit. Any more would be tough to surmount, although we never know with what we saw last night against Falmouth.
Yeah, thankfully for Hageman, Bobby Brennan's up right now. He struck out swinging in the second inning and then looking in the fourth inning, so you really need an out right here. You're either going to try to strike out Brennan or throw him a two-seamer or something low that he can ground out, try to turn a double play.
Brennan, number 56, left fielder, shows bunt, pulls it back smartly as that ball was in low. 1-0 now on Bobby Brennan, the 9-hitter, playing in left today.
So similar to what they did against Falmouth, they're going to bring Sable all the way in. They want him to be the one that fields this bunt.
They show bunt, goes down the third baseline, and played by McIver, makes a safe play over to first to Sable, and the runners advance, but there's one out here in the sixth inning, second and third now for Chatham. So that'll be a sack bunt for Bobby Brennan, score at 5-3.
Jake Anchia, the catcher, getting the sign from Don Sneddon in the dugout right now. They want all the infielders in on the grass. They're going to try to cut off the runner at third, Mason Coppins, if he takes off for home on a ground ball. So 2 runs could score here for DJ Artis if he hits the ball hard in a gap.
DJ Artis, on the first pitch, hits this one out to right field for a base hit. 1 run's going to score. Here comes, and he holds on at third as a smart play by the third base coach of Chatham to hold up his runner, as taking a big turn around third base was the second runner, Palomaki, but now he's on third base, and Chatham has a 6-3 lead.
Well, Coach Schiff over there at third base, been the manager of this team for decades. He really knows what he's doing there at third base. He said he started coaching third base in 2009 because he took over for one of his assistants who was absent that day, and he's been doing it ever since. So that's a good little story over there. But for the Gatemen, you tied this one back up at 3-3. You do all the little things right to creep your way back in this game. And Justin Hageman right now in the 5th and 6th inning, he's been giving up runs, and that's not the recipe for success.
You have to give credit to this Chatham lineup. They've been pretty impressive up and down the lineup today. That is their 10th hit of the game. A reminder, we're only in the 6th inning of a 7-inning game, so 10 hits for the Anglers as Josh Shaw will step in. He's 2 for 3. Number 5 in white. The righty facing Hageman, who struggled so far in this inning. Runners on first and third with 1 out as the ball comes in outside, strike 1 on the outside corner from Hageman. Shaw.
Big spot here for Shaw.
Shaw, St. John's Red Storm. And a little pickoff move there towards third, then towards first for Hageman, but no one on third base covering as McIver preventing that 5-6 hole. And the breaking ball comes in. Nice pitch there from Hageman. And he's ahead of Shaw, 0-2. Shaw is a very capable hitter. He's 2 for 3 and was the Big East Freshman of the Year this year. And they do the pickoff move again. Hageman, a lot of pickoff moves here against this Chatham Anglers roster as DJ Artis has a lot of speed over there at first base. This one's grounded through the 5-6 hole, sliding play, but the run's going to score. A good play to stop it by Fosnop, but there was nothing he could do about that one. And it's a 7-3 Chatham lead on the RBI single by Josh Shaw.
Well, that's the RBI that might have put this game out of the reach for the Wareham Gatemen. 3-run lead, that is surmountable to come back from in 1 inning, but 4 runs, that's asking a lot from your offense. Justin Hageman is. He's given up 2 in the 5th, now 2 in the 6th. He's still not out of this inning. Runners on first and second, 1 out.
And Jacob Olson out of South Carolina will step in. And time is called. And it looks like we could be seeing a new pitcher here in the 6th inning for Wareham. As
it's Coach Lawler out there to make the pitching change, and I think we're going to see Will Neely.
And Will Neely will come into the game. We'll go to a quick break, though, during the pitching change. 7-3 Chatham here in the bottom half of the 6th inning on the Gatemen Baseball Network. It's the second SEC pitcher, the second SEC East pitcher, I should say, coming into this game for the Gatemen today. And it's going to be Will Neely making his first appearance of the season for the Gatemen out of Tennessee. He's a 5'11" guy, the right-hander. And because of that, that breaking ball is really tough to read out of that kind of short arm action. And a .88 career walks hits per innings pitched ratio at Tennessee. Pretty impressive stat there, as most guys in their college days are above at least 1.1 or 1.2 at this point. 3-1 with 41 strikeouts to 13 walks this year at Tennessee, with a .213 opposing batting average for the Volunteers.
Well, you look at his motion right now, and we've been watching him in practice over the past couple of weeks, and I describe everything he does as quick. The arm action is quick. The time from the ball leaving his hand to getting in the catcher's glove is very quick. He's got a hard fastball, and the spin is quick on his breaking balls. So, he's short, as you said, 5'11", 170, short for a pitcher, that is. And to make up for it, his arm action's really quick. He tries to snap the ball in there, and he was successful for most of the time at Tennessee this year.
Certainly some good numbers at Tennessee this year. With that .213 opposing batting average, was the number 2 right-handed pitcher in his state, coming out of the state of Tennessee from Knoxville. So a homegrown talent on the Tennessee River out in East Tennessee and the Smoky Mountains. Will Neely coming in for his first appearance of the season for the Wareham Gatemen. Played in the Alaska League, which we know is a very good league.
Oh, yeah.
Last year, for the Anchorage Bucks, had a 3.89 ERA and 21 strikeouts. Also won a Class AAA state championship in Tennessee with Hardin Valley Academy in high school. So Will Neely will face Jacob Olson in a tough spot with runners on first and second. And one out here in the sixth inning and a 7-3 Chatham lead in game one of a twin bill. Breaking ball on the first pitch inside. 1-0 on Olson from South Carolina. Hageman giving up 4 runs so far to his name with two more potential runners to his name. At first and second, it's Shaw at first, Artis at second. Artis has some intense speed as the ball comes in for a strike. On the outside corner from Neely, it's 1-1.
Yeah, as you said, Sam, Hageman's struggles from Penn State really continued. 1 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, only 2 strikeouts.
A lot of speed at second. DJ Artis can definitely steal third if he wants to on a breaking ball potentially, as this ball comes in low in the dirt. And in a 7-3 game, it might not hurt for Chatham to try to steal third here. Jacob Olson, and now in a 2-1 count out of South Carolina, facing an SEC East foe he's probably pretty familiar with. Will Neely against Olson. The righty on righty. Inside. Almost hit him, but comes in, and it goes to 3-1.
Well, Neely really needs to do a good job of cleaning up Hageman's mess right now. If he doesn't, this game is certainly out of reach for the Gatemen. 2 runners on. I don't think they're going to put any in motion just because they have faith in their bats today.
Olson is 1 for 3, and he swings and just fouls this one away. It's going to be 3-2 full count on Jacob Olson. Olson is now 3 for 12 this year at .250 with 1 home run and 2 runs batted in this year. Also scored a run back in the 5th inning on the Nick Patton home run to right center field. That gave the Chatham Anglers a 5-3 lead. Olson grounds this one off his foot, and he's really hurt. Got to shake that one off. So that's a foul ball. 3-2, the count will remain. We saw Will Neely 2 times in the preseason. First in a game against the Brockton Rocks, in which he really struggled, but then came back against the New Bedford Bay Sox on a Saturday night and really pitched pretty well. So a good recovery there for the Tennessee Volunteer, Will Neely.
Good recovery by Jacob Olson, the batter. He seems just fine after walking off that ball. It looked like he has a shin guard and an ankle guard on his left foot. So
we know how much that hurts if he doesn't have that. One of the most painful feelings in baseball, honestly, fouling a ball off your ankle. As Jacob Olson takes ball 4 in the dirt. So Will Neely walks his first batter, and the bases are going to be loaded. Nick Patton, the cleanup hitter, already has a home run today.
Now batting for the Anglers, the first baseman from the University of Delaware, number 12, Nick Patton.
And Patton steps in from Delaware. The Blue Hen from Butler, Pennsylvania. Number 12 is now 2 for 3 on the day with a double and a home run. Also flew out to center back in the 3rd inning. And he's now 3 for 7 on the season for Chatham. This is only his 2nd appearance this year. He'll probably be seeing more lineup time after his performance today, as he fouls this one back on an 0-0 pitch, and Neely is ahead in this count, 0-1. With 1 out and the bases loaded here in the 6th inning, Olson is at first, Josh Shaw is at second, DJ Artis is at third.
That was a really bad time for Will Neely to walk a runner, put the bases loaded for a cleanup hitter.
Neely trying to settle his command down. The righty on righty. And this one's in the dirt. Good play there by the catcher, Anchia, barely stopping that. If that gets by him, Artis is flying home. There's no way anyone's catching him.
Anchia caught a real break from umpire Rick Emerson. His left foot was his right foot was underneath his legs. I think that ball was getting through Anchia if Emerson's right foot hadn't been there.
It's a good call there. I did not see that. It did hit the foot of the umpire, though. Rick Emerson. As the pitch from Neely swung on and missed on a good pitch there. Count runs to 1-2. Nick Patton, who homered in the last inning, to give Chatham the 5-3 lead right after Wareham had tied it on a bomb to left center by Willie McIver. Willie McIver is now responsible for the last 4 runs batted in for the Wareham Gatemen. Nick Patton, though, is the batter with the bases loaded for Chatham. The righty swings at a breaking ball, pops it way up in the air, out to right field. Bonfield is there, makes the play. Tagging is the runner at third, and DJ Artis is too fast. There's no way Bonfield's catching him from there, so the runner, Artis, scores, and it's an 8-3 Chatham lead as they've added 3 more runs here in the 6th inning. And a sac fly for Pena, and Fabian Pena steps in. Also the runner at second, Josh Shaw, advanced to third on that sac fly. So now the runners are back on the corners. Olsen is at first, Shaw is at third, and Fabian Pena, the catcher, is at the plate with now 2 out here in the 6th as a first pitch from Neely is a fastball that goes low, 1-0 on Pena.
Yeah, Bonfield doesn't necessarily look confident out there in right field right now. He threw that one flat-footed to home plate.
Fabian Pena and a Manhattan Jasper as he swings and misses. It's 1-1 from Miami Lakes, Florida. First team all MAAC this year. A 330 average, including a 398 average in conference. The catcher from Manhattan College stares down Will Neely and takes a ball in the dirt. 2-1. 67 hits this year for Manhattan. 502 slugging percentage as well. Pretty impressive stat there for Pena. The MAC, excuse me, not the MAC. The MAC is the MAC. The MAAC Rookie of the Year in 2016 swings and misses. 2-2 now. As Neely trying to get out of this inning. Reminder that Neely did give up that run, but that run will be credited to Justin Hageman. As the pitch from Neely comes in, swung on and missed. And applying the tag on the drop third strike. That Gateman strikeout was brought to you by law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. End of the 6th inning, but the Chatham Anglers add 3 more runs to their lead on a lot of hits. We will go to the 7th.
Okay, the 2 round-trip tickets on the Steamship Authority ferry.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgentcare. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgentcare.
The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
Welcome back. It's the top half of the 7th inning, the final inning of this first game in a doubleheader between the Chatham Anglers and Wareham Gatemen. 8-3 Chatham on top here as a new pitcher coming in to try to close this one out for Chatham. It's a right-hander, JoJo Gray from Lemoyne College in Syracuse. And 2017 stats are extremely impressive. Just a 0.63 ERA in 13 appearances, including 10 saves this year for Lemoyne. From New Rochelle, New York, just north of the city. You got to get a scouting report on this guy, don't you?
Yeah, JoJo Gray, Hampton's Collegiate Baseball League last year. He was
That's your
fantastic for the Southampton Breakers. He hit 200, and the Breakers were mostly using him in the field as a shortstop and as a second baseman. He gets to the scout day in West Hampton Beach, and he takes the mound, and I was thinking, what is this guy doing on the mound? He throws a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. It's gotten up to 95, 96 over the past year with the Southampton Breakers last summer. 1-0 record, 2.75 ERA, and 14 relief appearances, notched 3 saves.
So JoJo Gray will face the leadoff hitter in this inning for the Wareham Gatemen. It's Andy Shadden in the 9-hole, playing designated hitter, who is 0 for 2 today, was also 0 for 5 in his last game, so Andy Shadden trying to break that stalemate. As the fog continues to roll through on this Sunday afternoon into evening here. I guess it is evening now. It's pretty much evening. It's like 7:30, isn't it?
It's 7 o'clock.
All right, it's 7. So
7:04 on the East Coast.
It's the evening. So Andy Shadden now in a 1-1 count facing JoJo Gray. Ball goes outside, 2-1.
It might be the evening, but the weather has looked like this for the past 4 hours we've been in Chatham. Just fog.
Yeah, and I mean, they warned us about this before the game, that the fog tends to roll in here in Chatham quite a bit. Here on the elbow of Cape Cod on this Sunday night, Shadden swings and misses on a hard cut at a JoJo Gray heater, 2-2.
Plenty of people still out here tonight. Chatham A's bringing a good crowd. This is the only time we'll be at Veterans Field this summer. Chatham will come to Wareham twice.
Shadden struck out looking again. It's the third strikeout looking for Shadden in 2 games. And he's down here in the 7th. The Gatemen just have 2 outs remaining. They're down by 5. And a leadoff hitter, Brandon Lockridge, is going to step in. Good pitch there from JoJo Gray on the outside corner on Shadden. The Bradley University Brave is now retired. And JoJo Gray from New Rochelle, New York, the righty, faces the righty, Brandon Lockridge, who is 2 for 3 on the day. Struck out in the 5th, but reached on the drop third strike. Also had 2 singles, a 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 3rd, stole a base back in the 3rd. Lockridge, the righty, takes a strike on the inside corner. Another good pitch from Gray there on the fastball, 1-1.
He's got an outstanding slider, too, to complement that fastball. Don't know if we've seen it yet, but he can really change speeds and change eye levels easily.
Lockridge fouls that one away on the heater. Over the Gatemen dugout down the first baseline. And the count runs to 1-2 with the Gatemen down to their final 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Reminder that there is one more game today between the Anglers and the Gatemen. Jacob Tovey will be taking over the play-by-play duties, and I will be joining him on color for that second game as the pitch comes into Lockridge high at the head. A headhunter, honestly, on Lockridge there. 2-2. Headhunter's more of a hockey term, but we'll bring it into baseball.
Well, if you throw the ball near the head area, it does make you a headhunter.
Lockridge on the 2-2 fouls it away over the right side. So I guess it's not really a hockey term then, so it's just a universal term.
It's a football term.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's been getting out of football since the refs have been throwing flags on hits in that area, but strong safeties, free safeties used to do it all the time.
Lockridge on a 2-2 count facing the electric JoJo Gray, who has retired the first batter in this inning. And that ball called strike 3 on the outside corner, the same pitch that got Shadden. And there are 2 out here in the 9th, or in the 7th, excuse me. I got carried away. I thought it was the 9th inning because it was the last inning. But it is the 7th here. We do have another game coming up at 8 p.m. as the Gatemen down by 5 here, down to their final out. 2 consecutive looking strikeouts by Shadden and Lockridge have Dodson at the plate. He is 1 for 2 on the day with a single. Drive this one out opposite field to the left fielder, Brennan, and this game is over. Tanner Dodson flies out to left, and the Chatham Anglers take game 1 of this 2-game twin bill. 8-3 the final score. Some good pitching all around. Jacob Stevens most notably the starter. And then a good closing performance by JoJo Gray, and a tough outing for the Gatemen pitching staff as Blakely Brown with a tough performance giving up a few runs early. Justin Hagenman came in and did not do well in relief as the Anglers win this one 8-3.
Well, and we've talked about so far in each of the Gatemen losses and wins, it's either been the hitting or the pitching that does something well. I think the bats could have been a little better tonight. The 3 you see on the scoreboard for the Gatemen, that's only there because Willie McIver hit an absolute bomb to the left center gap. Otherwise, I'm not sure that the Gatemen bats had a really good performance. I mean, the Gatemen did have some hits, 7 overall. 2 by Brandon Lockridge, and he got on base 3 times, stole a base. He did really well today, but the hitters behind him, they didn't do their jobs. They didn't advance him. They didn't knock him in for runs. So I think the Gatemen bats coming out in the second game for you and Jacob Toby, they need to make sure that they're doing a good job of driving in those runs once runners get on base. So they've taken a critical step in their favor.
And we'll get you the lineup changes and the pitchers as that second broadcast starts just before 8 p.m. 3 runs on 7 hits and 1 error for the Gatemen today. 8 runs on 11 hits and 0 errors for the Chatham Anglers. Do you have a player of the game today for us, Connor?
Willie McIver, no doubt. He's the only one that had RBIs for the Gatemen today. The 3-run home run. Like we said before, we don't get official distances on those, but I'd guesstimate somewhere between 370 and 380 feet. We're getting word first pitch is going to be 7:40 for the second game, so do not go too far because, these two teams, they're going to want to play that 7-inning game as soon as they can. The lights are on here at Veterans Field trying to get through the fog, but 7:40 will be our start time.
So we'll see if the Gatemen bats come alive in the second game of this doubleheader as we got one more for you. Don't go anywhere as that game is starting at 7:40. Thank you for listening to this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. The general manager of the Wareham Gatemen is Andrew Lang. The producers of today's broadcast are Nick Veronese and Matt Wieselthier. Our silent reporter is Claudia Chikamian. Thanks to our beat writer Matt Feld and today's host Jacob Toby. The next broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball will be just in a few minutes as play-by-play broadcaster Jacob Toby will take over the duties here for Game 2 of the Anglers and the Gatemen. For Connor Federico, I am Sam Corman. Thanks for tuning in to this presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.